7 today?
Exactly.
Yeah, really.
Welcome. Thinking Critical. This is Wes here. Fatal J is not going to be here, so you can stay on the stream. Make sure to smash the like button because we encourage that. Thank you very much. Marvel is the best. DC is the best. They're making the best content ever. Thank you so much for coming.
I think Wes got a tan.
No, I would never say that. No one believes that that's Wes. Obviously, that's
I wish I had
some
a ton.
interesting stuff to talk about. We've got this Spider-Man news. We got an event coming up with Spider-Man. We'll get into that. We've got some information on Superman Legacy. We do have the biggest Superman fan that I know here with us today. Fantastic panel. Returning is Dylan, the real comic book gamer. How you doing, Dylan?
I'm doing great, man. Feels great to be back. Thanks for having me back here.
Well, I'm glad you could make it. We're going to talk about some of the big characters out there. What's been going on with the channel? Are you doing streaming? Are you still doing the videos? You doing everything?
Yeah, still doing videos. Got some things I'm working on, but lately I've just been pissing Last Jedi fans off on Twitter, so that's been fun.
There are Last Jedi fans?
There's a lot of them.
No way.
Ah, you just say
imagine.
The Last Jedi into the ether and they show up.
To say Last
should I
Jedi
make a
ruined
video
Star Wars.
about Last Jedi and see if I can coax them over to the channel and see how great I am?
You should give it a shot, dude.
And I did a full review of that with Aaron Sparrow. So they believe it's a good movie.
Yes, they think it has the best cinematography of any Star Wars movie, and they think it's the most original Star Wars movie ever, and it's so smart, and it takes 200
More original than the first one.
Yes.
I was gonna say, you know what would be the most original Star Wars? The original Star Wars.
Oh, God, I already said that.
Apparently not.
Yeah. So you're like one of the people fighting the good fight against all the Last Jedi nerds, huh?
Kind of. I just made like one little tweet, and then people got really upset. And now it's like, according to Twitter, like 330,000 people have seen the tweet now, and they're not too happy.
I don't know.
It's fun though.
There you go. Definitely check out his Twitter handle. See if you can mess with some Last Jedi fans. Obviously, he does all the good gameplay on Star Wars games, Marvel games, DC games, and all that stuff. What games are you streaming right now?
The new Star Wars game comes out next week, which is the one of two good things for Star Wars going on currently. So that should be fun. So I'll be
Dylan, you know they bring
two.
it back. Dylan, you know they bring it back Ray, right?
Yeah, I know, and that looks horrible. Everything that was announced at D23, other than Andor season 2, I'm actually excited for that because I like the first season. But everything else
Andor was complete trash.
Okay, wait.
everything
That's
else.
a question. Dylan.
Yes.
So, Andor, is it good Star Wars, or is it good sci-fi drama that isn't Star Wars?
It's good Star Wars. Just like we've always had with Legends.
Good
No.
Star Wars to put you to sleep.
It's always Star Wars Legends have, like, back in the day, we always had stuff that felt like it could exist in a universe, but it's different, and that's how I feel like Andor is. I feel like Andor is pretty good.
Man, you are I'm not watching Andor. I'm not watching anything Star Wars until they make a good movie again.
Well, good luck.
That'll never
You're not
Might
gonna
be a
watching
while.
anything.
It'll be a while, brother.
Yeah, none of the stuff they did at D23 was all that good. So if you're looking for the new Star Wars game, which I imagine the other good thing you were talking about was Andor.
Yes.
Season 2?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Hit on both of them. Definitely check out his channel. He's got the big Twitch going on, big time YouTuber as well. Who else we got? We got Fatal J returning to the channel, showing your real hair. Normally you have a hat on like a child.
Well, my hair is starting to get so tall now that wearing a snapback looks idiotic, just like my life. Because this is the thing about my life. I'm living in my mom's basement. I don't have any more money on my account. I'm doing bad. People are not watching my YouTube channel no more. I highly advise you, after this dynamic comic book stream, to go watch the new video I dropped. It's called the Dark Council Highlight Show. I need that to be at 1K. Can you at least give me a little bit of happiness in my life, ladies and gentlemen? I know
No.
you guys hate my guts.
No.
And I understand
3 months
that.
ago, you said no one was watching your channel. I went over there and all your videos were over 4,000 views.
Oh, well, you know, sometimes I lie. But this is the thing about it, ladies and gentlemen. Watch the stuff because I have nothing else going for me. Mom, I'll do the chores in a minute. So, guys, please check out the Fatal J channel. Thank you.
Especially if you like shorts, because Fatal J is a shorts channel, right?
Wes, I'm trying to tell you before you lose the hype. Shorts are the future for YouTube. It's going to be no escaping it. You have to start doing shorts, buddy. You have to.
Nah, I'm like,
Yes.
I'm
no,
sorry, TikTok reposts are not very
yeah,
fun.
not my thing.
Watch what I tell you. Fatal J
You know-
is Fatal Domus right now.
This is
When they hold on, Doc. When they get rid of TikTok, because it's coming, all those people are gonna come over to YouTube, and it's
No,
gonna
they're
be nuts. Yes, they are.
no, they're not.
Yes, they
And
are.
TikTok isn't going anywhere. So
We'll see. Because
How
all
are the Chinese supposed to spy on us if we don't use TikTok? Of course, it's going to stick around.
Zoom.
Fatal J, I'm not going to bite. I'm not going to do shorts. Dylan, you're a bigger YouTuber than all of us. Are you doing the shorts thing?
I've posted I think like 2 shorts ever.
See? That's
he's
what I've done.
He's right in the fact that like YouTube is pushing it big
Did he
time.
say Fatal J?
So it is an
right?
easier way to get views if you want to do that, but it's kind of just dumb if like I just
You want to
don't
make
care about
money and
shorts.
actually build a real audience
Yeah.
on real takes.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's smart to do if you want to build up your YouTube channel, but it's like it's kind
All
of
it is, Dylan. Tell.
I don't want to
this.
build my YouTube channel up on 8-year-olds on Ritalin. It's not my
Dylan,
thing.
tell this man this. All shorts are not trying to get famous and blow up and make money. It's promoting everything else. I did research on it. What shorts do is promote your long form content in the recommendation section. That's what
If
it
you
does.
want 12-year-olds to watch your videos, I'm supporting the 40 and 50-year-olds.
Well, I want the 12-year-olds to watch
Oh,
that
exactly.
stuff. Okay.
Thank you for saying that and spelling it out. I want the 12-year-olds. You said it finally.
all right, where's Chris Hansen?
Exactly. You busted the door.
Have
Shorts
a
are boring. Thank you, Tevya. Another famous YouTuber out there finally agrees with me.
Jay, yeah, can you have a seat right over there?
Yeah.
We need to talk.
All right, we're done with that one. Who else we got? We got Gray return to the channel. We're talking Spider-Man, which we had a Gray, a fellow expat. Obviously, he's from the United Kingdom. I'm from the U.S., but he's in Japan and I'm in the Philippines. We're both in Asia. How you doing, Gray?
I'm doing good. Whereas all I can say is poor Peter Parker yet again.
Absolutely. Are you doing shorts on your channel? That's the question.
I've done a couple when I haven't had time to make a normal like long form review, just like a kind of summary. But to be honest, I've seen fellow like YouTubers who have got a lot of subs through shorts, but then they don't get the interaction on their regular streams, on the live streams and on their regular videos. But that's just my 2 cents, my 2 yen.
That's also what I've noticed.
Yeah, now I have to admit, you do have to stay consistent with your other stuff, because if you do straight shorts, it'll destroy your channel.
What you've been
Okay.
doing.
Well, my live stream my last live stream was successful, so
I'm just saying you
I'm
went to
okay.
almost an all foods channel, man.
well, I was in a mode where I didn't want to make long videos anymore, but now
Grown
I'm
out
making-
your hair and you wanted to have the big reveal and you didn't want to show the in-between phase. I get it.
Hey, Jay, I'm betting you're really, really, really hoping for more rings of power so you can get your
Oh,
channel.
that's
For
what-
anybody to give a damn about your channel.
I'm
Season
not
two's
I'm not
coming.
gonna lie. Those Rings of Power videos blew me the freak up. So this
Yeah, you
next
did like
season,
100,000 views on one of them.
yeah.
Well,
So
next
I'll be
season
back.
isn't coming out for like 2 years, so he's got a while to wait.
Well, you know they
Gotta-
getting
yeah.
sued too. Amazon
Gotta
is suing.
wait.
I mean, the token estate is suing Amazon now.
They should,
Yeah,
for how
okay.
bad that show was.
I agree.
All right, who else we got? Gabe does not have a YouTube channel, although I do think he maybe shows up on the Weird Science YouTube channel every once in a while. Gabe
do
is
show
a
up there.
comic book reviewer.
No.
What's up?
Yeah, we do show up there. Comical Opinions actually does have a YouTube channel, and we played with shorts in the beginning of the year. So I can tell you, it's a very quick and easy way to start building up a subscriber base. But exactly to the point, I think Ray said, or Dylan maybe said it, is the viewer intent is very different. So shorts are for people who just want like a quick hit little soundbite. And then if you want to do the long form content, it's like the mentality is different. So one doesn't translate.
Mike
to the
Knight
other.
says it best right here. Shorts erode your brain.
That may be the case.
My
So,
brain is already eroded.
Exactly. Look at Fatal J.
Too
What
late.
happened to him?
but for me, the bread and butter, of course, is Weird Science DC Comics, Weird Science Marvel Comics, and of course, on top of all that, Comical Opinions, reviews, more reviews, and I'm willing to bet we're going to spend a significant portion of time today talking about Spider-Man and
We
issue
are
number
gonna talk
24
about
for Amazing
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. So I did the review, I wrote it up, I read it, I know it's coming. So
You
we'll
love
see
the
what
comic book.
What?
You love the comic book.
No, I didn't say that at all.
Oh.
Actually, the review, if you read my review on that one, my reaction to it is sort of baffling. Structurally, it's an okay comic. I mean, it's nothing particularly weird about it one way or the other. It's not like a terribly written comic, or it's not a fantastically written comic. It's just sort of middle of the road. It's the story implications that make it so divisive, and really get everybody in an uproar. And so, from a reviewer's point of view, you kind of have to take it from the standpoint of, okay, am I disagreeing with the story's direction, which is a creative choice, versus is this just badly written? It's not badly written, except for that continuity error in issue 21, but it's the story choices. And I think this is one of the cases where the story choice is so egregious and going in the opposite direction of what a growing...
It's like Game of Thrones all over again.
Yeah, people want it to go one way, or at least in a particular direction, and Marvel appears to be doing everything in their power to go in the exact opposite direction. And I think that's what's getting people upset. And I see Luther's fixing his hair down there, so why don't we get moving on to the topic so we can...
Hey, I want to say this. I want to say this one thing. You know, I'm not a fan of modern day comics, but I am enjoying Wildcats, the reboot, and I'm enjoying Superman Lost.
I don't like Superman Lost.
Superman Lost is dope. You don't like it?
You're talking
I said
about
everyone likes it.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about Wildcats from Matthew
Rosenberg. I don't get what he's saying there. That was insane.
Yeah, Matthew Rosenberg. I don't know who the freak he is, but he knows how to write.
No, he doesn't. No.
Fatal J.
Once again, Fatal J demonstrating his complete ability to poorly evaluate every piece of, well, popular media.
Doc, I'm not oddball on this. I thought you guys liked it.
Hey, nine out of 10 Snyder fans can't be wrong, right?
I like the actual fucking Wildcats, not whatever this bullshit is.
Look, we're never gonna get that Wildcats back. Okay?
I don't care. Then don't give me anything. Don't give me. Hey, would you like this bastardization of the Snyderverse, or would you like the fucking Snyderverse?
See, I didn't bring up the Snyderverse. It was Gabe and Doc. See, y'all always say Fatal J brings it up. I never bring it up.
No, I'm making a point right now.
Something
would
you
like,
love, you're precious.
Hey, would you like me to go make a fucking movie in the Snyderverse? Or would you like Zack Snyder? And if it was your choice between me or nothing, which one would you fucking take?
Okay, Doc, let me answer that question. Is Jim Lee a good writer?
No.
Okay, then.
He never wrote his own comic.
Him and Brandon Choi did write that.
And
they both wrote it.
And the first dozen issues of the comic fucking sucked.
Okay. So
yeah, this is somehow worse.
Okay, well,
this is somehow worse.
Let me be very clear about this. If Doc directed a film set in the Snyder universe, I would pay money to watch that film.
I would too. Because I know it's going to be very
much as Zack Snyder, yeah.
It's going to be very perverted.
I didn't say it was going to be good, but I would watch it.
Violent, and I want to see.
All right, Lade says.
It would also.
Why is Gal Gadot topless for the entire movie? How did that happen?
It would absolutely. Never mind.
Stop.
Lade says, Wes, we need one moment with Gabe Face today. We have Fatal J on the panel. You will get at least 5 Gabe Faces just off of his stupid pity flow. Guaranteed. He also says. The Last Jedi has them drop bombs in space, despite we get the Y-wings and B-wings, proton torpedoes, concussion missiles. That was a pretty stupid moment there, Dylan.
Yeah, that opening was so dumb.
Was the dropping bombs in space dumber than the having like the big character that was presumably going to be the breakout character Finn just come out as a comical prop? In the opening scene of the movie.
That part was stupid. I think the dumbest thing in that entire movie is Mary Poppins Leia flying through space. That is the dumbest part.
No, hold on.
It's way more dumber stuff.
No, burning rubber and having your emergency brake pulled in space is the dumbest bullshit in history.
Doc, all right, Doc, you need to back up from the mic, man. Really
I can top that, Doc. What about when Rose Tico stopped Finn
from saving everybody?
Yeah.
And then made out with him and raped him on the battlefield?
That would have killed
sexually assaulted him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you also have the one where the pilot is being funny with General Huck at the opening. What did I can't hear you?
Look, nothing tops stupidity more than Luke Skywalker dying because he's tired.
I agree. Tired.
I agree. Luke Skywalker.
Green titty milk was not cool either.
Luke, no, this was the number one. Luke Skywalker holographic force fighting Kylo Ren.
on another planet. Yeah,
When he was too lazy to get out of bed.
yeah. We could go on forever. Miss Maria, reading web novel Level Up Hero, really fun.
Okay, thank you.
I'm assuming it's Level Up Hero. Is it
Reading
good?
web novel, Level Up Hero. That sounds like a manga.
Maybe
That
it
sounds
is.
like a manga.
I have not read that one. Thank you for the
Thank you, Miss Maria.
recommendation. Common Sense. Dylan, did you watch Eden Zero? Think it's the best alternative. I imagine he's talking about Star Wars.
I have no clue what Eden Zero is.
And you
So
call
I don't-
yourself a Star Wars fan?
I don't think that's Star Wars.
It's the best alternative. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, so it's something entirely different. I don't know what Eden Zeros is.
Is Star Trek not a good alternative to Star Wars?
No.
Everybody looking at me or something? Why is so quiet?
No, they're not the same thing.
Oh,
Look, I see Fatal J's mom just closed the door because he's being too loud.
yeah, yeah. I gotta be good, or I have to do chores. So you guys,
I know some people don't like this take, but this is a true take. Star Trek is science fiction. Star
Yes.
Wars is science fantasy.
No.
Yeah.
Different. They're different.
So-
They're not the same.
No, hold on.
Yeah.
Star Trek is space commies. And Star Wars.
I thought
is
it was Wagon
space
Train to
adventure.
the Stars, Doc.
No, it's space commies because it's a post scarcity world where there is no concept of money.
It's not true. If you watch
It's
Deep
Space
Space Nine, they got the gold press platinum.
Yeah, that's
oh
one,
yeah.
That's
yeah.
all it is one particular alien species that still likes actual money.
Why are you
Everyone
talking
else,
about
nobody
the
gives a
Ferengi
fuck.
like they're not even here?
The Ferengi is
Because
dope.
I don't even bother to remember what the fuck their names are.
What
Why
was
are you
that book
talking
called?
then? You don't
The
even like Star
Ferengi?
Trek.
Bro, I read the book of Acquisition from the Ferengi.
Hey, who doesn't love a good
I got a
unbox
corn
once in a while? You know what I'm saying?
It's still space commies.
Star Trek is the best, man.
Kid Kidra
All right,
White,
all right,
the
all right.
Dominion.
If
Chris
you ask,
says, "Hello, aficionados. Robin
Hello.
succeeds to prolong one more day retcon. Assume MJ helps Magic Kids and dies to prolong the retcon. Rich Pete did sales increase."
Well, that may be true. I mean, whether you like it or not, Spider-Man is still #1 on the sales charts according to Comicron, beating out Batman. And I think Wes, you even did a video about this, right?
I did do a video about that. I think it means that sales are going down because
Yeah,
this
me too.
Spider-Man book blows.
Well, if Spider-Man sales are going down, that means all comic sales are going down.
I think that's what my point is. Yes,
Yeah.
I believe that's what's actually happening.
Impressive.
I'm not certain that the #1 selling comic book is doing 80,000 anymore. It might be doing like 65 or something.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, I'm hearing the same that that even the top spot is not breaking six figures.
yep.
Yeah.
It's-
So obviously we need more information, but I'm kind of getting that feeling just from the temperature of way people are talking about Amazing Spider-Man and then the rankings underneath it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that might be what's going on. Known, or is it no one? I don't know. When
He
Disney
said
first-
known.
When Disney first purchased Lucasfilm, they had the opportunity to adapt the vintage Star Wars comics and graphic novels. That is, remember when Kathleen Kennedy said, the Marvel Studios has all this material that they get to adapt. We have none of that. Remember that, Dylan?
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. Now they've just been
Like it didn't
ignoring all
exist.
of it. Yeah.
Remember when they did that 1 year after announcing that they were that none of the EU stuff is canon anymore?
You remember when she lied in George Lucas' face and said she was going to take care of these characters
Yeah.
and treat them right? You remember that too?
Yeah, but what do you see in the Ahsoka trailer that just came out a couple of weeks ago? She says heir to the throne, which is a reference to the trilogy of books, which is part of the EU, which is one of the best trilogies from the
And
EU.
they're going to destroy
Yeah,
it
but you have to
because
have
they're
a
going
young Luke for that one.
they're going to treat Thrawn like Thanos, like it's a
Heir to
Marvel
the-
movie.
Heir to the Throne takes place
I'm
5
thinking
years
of Dark
after Jedi.
Empire. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. You're
They're
right.
going to treat Thrawn like Thanos, like he's a big baddie.
Well,
they
better
try-
than General Huck.
They're
Well,
gonna ruin
Thrawn is a big
though.
bad. He's like the
Yeah.
smartest,
He
He's a
kind of
tech
general
Sure.
out there.
He's
They
kind
already-
of sort of is, but not really.
They already made him
Yeah.
a dumbass in Rebels, and they used him. He was a complete idiot in Rebels.
They changed him in Rebels from the books. You're exactly right.
Yeah, every episode, the Rebels would get away and win, and then it would cut to Thrawn and be like, this is all part of my plan. I intended for them to completely defeat me and get away. I am tracking them. And it just kept happening every episode. And Thrawn never did anything.
They're going to ruin it. They're going to ruin it.
Absolutely. There's so many good stories to tell. That's the worst part. Goblin says, Gabe, I saw your Marvel July solicits. I'm disappointed that Vane Estevic won't be in Clobbering Time. You want Ben and Thing to team up because they had history. Why are you pissing common sense off, Gabe?
Yeah, it comes with the job. It really does. I will say the first Clobbering Time I liked a lot. I mean, it's just sort of like stupid
Marvel team up.
Rock'em fun. I liked it a lot. The second issue is coming out this coming week. I haven't seen it yet.
Marvel team
I'll be getting it shortly, and I'm looking forward to it. If they can keep up the fun energy, and that's really what it all is. That's the type of title that's really just about putting superheroes together and having fun. And if they can keep that up, then I'll be happy. As far as Vane not being on it, I don't know. We'll see how that pans out. You know, they could always change it up with somebody better, and that's not a slight on Vane. I'm just saying that happens.
Eric O'Sullivan, the Sultan of Soup himself. Hey, y'all, I'm on my way to Boston Wicked Cat. Have a great stream. I'll catch up on it later. I'll be pimping the show with my Comics Aficionados t-shirt. How about the Rise of Skywalker Marvel Comics, huh? I don't think they made that one. They announced it, but I don't believe they made it, right?
The nicest man on the internet. What up, Eric?
I think he's saying that he probably has the adaptations of all the movies in comic form, but that one never came out, and it ruined his collection.
I have a secret pleasure out there. I do like adapting the movies in comic book form. I own some. I know that sounds strange. I even have the Last Jedi one. Forgive me.
Man, what happened to your video, Fatal J?
What you mean?
Man, he's
It's
just
frozen.
sitting extremely
You're just
still.
frozen. It looks like you're looking at your boobs or something.
Y'all hear me?
I can
That's
hear
what I'm
you.
looking
It's
at
just
anyway.
kind of weird hearing you talk, but seeing you look down at yourself.
Well,
He
maybe
is-
I'm like Thrawn. That's my plan.
He's inspecting to make sure there's still something down there.
Well, if you're in Wicked Cat, definitely be looking out for Eric O'Sullivan, and I believe HH and the guys from Sigma Comics are going to be there as well. That would be a lot of fun. Go to Wicked Cat, go get some crab cakes, some beers afterwards, and
You
look
should get
for the
Eric to
Rise of
join the
Skywalker.
You should get Eric to join the stream from the convention.
We should do a live.
Yeah, get him to join the
Be a
stream.
correspondent.
Hmm.
Maybe that would work. Wraith X7 Eden Zero is a really good science fantasy anime. Do you watch anime? Dylan?
Occasionally. I'm not really a big anime guy, but maybe I'll check it out.
So if they made a Star Wars anime, you wouldn't watch it?
They already did. It's
They
called
already did.
Visions. Yeah,
Mhm.
I haven't watched it.
Visions is
either.
dope. Dylan, you need to check it out, man.
Yeah, you already said that some other stuff was dope too that wasn't dope though. Wasn't that you saying Wildcats was dope?
Yes,
it is
it
good,
was.
man.
No, it's not. Stop talking.
Okay, I'm done.
I'm gonna have to agree with Jay. Visions is dope. It's
Visions
like a
is
series,
dope.
it's a sequel of animated shorts set in the Star Wars universe.
It's like the
Done in different-
Animatrix.
Yeah, done in different styles and with different stories, and they just sort of adapt. Like they have this one issue where about a samurai who comes into a village that's being surrounded by bad guys, but it's instead of a sword, he has a lightsaber. So they
Can y'all see me?
So it's
Yep.
essentially
Okay.
Love, Death, and Robots for Star Wars.
Animatrix.
yeah.
Yeah, that Samurai Sith episode was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish they do more things. I bought the comic book to it too. The guy that did Afro Samurai, he made a Marvel's comic of the Samurai Sith guy. You guys,
You're
need
the
to check it
reasons
out.
they're still making crap like that, huh, Fatal J?
Well, I'm a guy that buys comics because
Of covers.
yes,
Common
Yes.
Sense says, Vane Astrovich, not Vane leader of the New Warriors.
Vance. It's Vance.
Vance, it said
Astrovic.
Vane.
It's still
It said Vane.
it's Vance Astrovic. It's Vance Astro, the fucking Captain America Quasar guy from the 31st century in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I got you. I like Guardian. Why are you yelling?
Whatever happened to that that new Warriors wears and guys? Is
I
that
don't think
is
it's
that
ever
going to
gonna
become
come
a
out.
myth? It kind of
We
has
know
become
it
a
was
myth,
made.
hasn't it?
Daniel Kibblesmith, the legend.
Oh my gosh.
There was a
Dying to
spot.
read it.
There was a spot put up, I think, on Amazon or in Comixology or something to pre-order, but it got locked up and you could never pre-order it.
They that book just got, it will be forever memory hold. It's the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie of comic books.
That movie came out though.
No, it didn't. It
went
got
straight
leaked.
to video or something.
It got leaked.
Wow. Well, there you go.
It was never released.
Very nice. Well, let's get into this. We're almost 30 minutes in. We haven't even talked about how much people are going to hate this issue of Spider-Man being Spider-Man 26. Writer Zeb Wells was bragging that people are absolutely going to hate the way, the direction that he takes the Spider-Man story. People already hate it. Apparently, we're going to hate it even more with the decision that he makes. Nick Lowe specifically instructed him, once the issue comes out, do not go to comic conventions because you will not be safe with the direction that you're taking for Spider-Man. Doc, you are the Marvel historian himself. You're a big Spider-Man fan. Does it surprise you that they're going out of the way and their gimmick marketing tool is to make the fans mad at the writer?
Here's the thing. I'm not entirely sold. The fact that they're making a big deal about, oh my God, the fans are going to hate this. Zeb Wells isn't going to be safe to go to comic conventions. He needs to stay home. You know what that feels like? It feels like they're so overhyping it that it's gonna fall like a wet fart.
Yeah, I think so.
It's making everybody seem like it's gonna be a lot bigger, and they're going to puss out on whatever follow through they were gonna do. Methinks thou doth protest too much. There's something about this that bugs me, and I feel like they're just going to, they're not going to follow through with whatever they were going to do, or they're going to leave themselves a very, very clear out that everyone can see from a mile away in the issue. And the fact that we all know that, okay, if they kill Mary Jane, who cares? They've decided that Spider-Man is now an X-Men character, and they'll just, I don't know, make a plant clone drug dealer gay version of her on Krakoa. That's where we're at. Even if they kill her, what difference is it going to make? They're just going to bring her back in a month.
I don't think they will, Doc, though, because what about that mini-series? Is it the Black Cat and Mary Jane one that Jed McKay was writing?
I think it's already over.
But I was saying in the future, that was so weird about the continuity. It was like the Spider-Man that we're getting now is catching up to what's happening in that, and Mary Jane's got powers or something.
It's true.
Yeah.
Weird.
No, I got this feeling like they're overhyping it, because here's the thing.
Yeah, definitely.
If they were actually going to do something that was so egregious, they would not announce. They would actually put Zeb Wells in danger, and I say that with air quotes. They'd put him in fucking danger, because then that's a bigger marketing tool. The fact that it's going to come out and people are going to go, is the reason why they're trying to overhype it now in order to make
buy it.
Yeah, they're trying to get, because here, if it was actually a big deal, they wouldn't do anything. They'd let it come out. They wouldn't do any of this bullshit, preventative action stuff with Zeb Wells. They'd let it come out. They'd let him actually get like assaulted or threatened or whatever at a comic convention, and then use the fan reaction to a book that's out to hype up a second print or hype up a third print or all that other stuff, because it's so terrible. It pissed off Spider-Man fans so much that now they're able to sell more copies. The fact that this is going to come out, everybody's going to just go, and forget about it, is the reason why they're hyping this so much now ahead of time, because they don't have anything else. It's just bullshit hype schemes.
Gray, to your question about the power set in the future, I think Zeb Wells did do a recent interview where he said that Mary Jane's power will get addressed in ASM.
Yeah, I saw that.
where
in
she
the
gets the
interview,
power
so-
from. And I suspect that the two will dovetail together toward whatever big thing happens in issues 25 and 26. Whether or not MJ is going to die or not, we'll see. But that seems to be the prevalent theory. To Doc's point, a lot of the hype about Zeb Wells should not go to a convention stinks really, really close to Tom King getting a bodyguard after the Batcat wedding debacle. That feels a lot like the same thing, where they're trying to pre-anticipate. They're trying to pre-anticipate a reaction, and even though that reaction may never come to fruition, they're making it. They're pretending like they are going to get that reaction to kind of generate that hype, because we know that Tom King knew that the wedding was never going to happen. But they hyped it anyway. He went on talk shows. He said, "It's definitely going to happen." And then he hired a bodyguard when he went to the convention. When it turned out that the bodyguard wasn't because of any death threats, they did it basically as a stunt to make it look like it was this big thing that was happening. It wasn't a real bodyguard, and he wasn't really getting death threats over that. But I mean, based on what that did to sales for the comic shops, he probably should have gotten one or two death threats for that.
Well, here's the thing.
But it stinks like that. It stinks like that kind of like fabricated angst or hype.
And the reason why they did that, and because now this is a thing where you had something that really pissed off fans, and they did this threat hype thing. But the reason why was that they followed through with the threat hype is because they made the book returnable, and they wanted people to think, like the people that just said once they found out, oh no, the it's not happening. Well, what did he do that caused him to need to get a security guard or a bodyguard or whatever, and then still sell the books to readers instead of just getting them returned like otherwise would have happened?
Yep. So, I mean, if people are in the chat or are going to watch this after the fact and you don't know what we're talking about, within Amazing Spider-Man and the latest issue that just came out is number 24, it's revealed that, I'm spoiling it, so if you don't want to know, turn it off now. Right? Okay, good. So if you're not up to speed, what's happened is we found out that Peter and MJ went to this alternate Earth, even though there was a continuity error with the art in issue 21 that sent the wrong MJ, but that's okay. And it turns out that there's a time differential between that alternate Earth and our Earth. So a few minutes here equals a few hours or a few days there. Peter realizes, freaks out, saying, the longer I stay on this Earth and not get MJ, she's aging at an accelerated rate, and I have to get back to her. He gets back to her, and years have passed by the time he eventually gets back to her and finds out that, at least it's presumed anyway, that she has entered into a relationship with Paul, who is Raven's scientific assistant, and the two had 2 kids together. So effectively, MJ has gone off and lived a new life on her own and created a family on her own without Peter. And Peter's like sitting there going like, I'm the biggest simp and cuck in the world. And because the love of my life is now with another man with kids, and I'm screwed. Now, what is that a temporary condition? Is it a permanent condition? Who knows? But effectively, and then I think the reason why that's come up as such a big point of contention is that for people who want MJ and Peter back together to undo all the damage from one more day, that puts a huge stumbling block to preventing that from ever happening ever again, without either retconning the story out of existence or killing off Paul and the kids, which would be distasteful, or something kind of timey-wimey with Mephisto or whatever, which they should have just done in the first place. So is it paying off? No, because people knew something bad was kind of going to happen, so it wasn't that big of a payoff. And at the same time, if you were looking for the two to get back together, you're going to be massively disappointed. So that's the story with ASM right now.
They'll never retcon One Bad Day. Never.
That's what Nick Spencer was moving towards. Not necessarily retconning it, but just sort of like undoing what had happened to it. And so this takes that work from Nick Spencer and just completely goes in the opposite direction. It's that whole antagonism thing all over again.
It is, and all it is about, hey, you know what? We're going to make it so bad and so egregious that there's no chance of it ever working. That we can't. Okay, you want Peter and MJ together. Now he's stepdaddy Peter, or
Uncle Pete.
Yeah, he's oh, you want them together? Well, now she feels older because she's a what? I mean, a widower and lost both of her kids. Oh, you want them together? Well, now you have to undo years and years because they'll keep this going for a couple of years at bare minimum and establish that there's been years of her being a mother. And now you're going to undo it and turn her into the future Scarlet Witch, going crazy because her kids were
are
imaginary.
like 9 years old, so she's got
I know.
9 years.
Well, that's an important. Oh, there's also a secondary point that not many people are talking about online, but we've talked about internally. Is the time differential means that MJ has aged up about a good 10 years plus.
Yeah.
So that means even if Paul goes away and Peter decides to adopt the kids or whatever, MJ's probably not going to have any more kids due to her being much older than Peter now.
She's like 40 now.
And so May Parker, guess what? No May Parker, never going to happen. So everything related to May.
I thought she was out there somewhere.
In an alternate reality, maybe, but I mean, as far as bringing her into the 616, May is off the table now, unless they do something with MJ's age and then bring her back in line with Peter.
No, I think Wes is talking about the original May Parker from like pre-Onslaught, pre-Heroes Reborn.
Yeah,
the one that MJ and Pete left with when Ben Reilly became Spider-Man.
Hey, look, if you want to know something about what's going on in the Spider-Verse, you're going to have to talk to the expert, Mr. Dan Slott, and I'll just leave it at that.
I think Norman killed her. I think.
But don't do it on Twitter because he quit.
Yeah.
He blocked me, I think. I don't know.
Or did he? Is he
Doesn't
back?
matter. He's done with Twitter. They took his blue check mark away. He ain't coming back.
Still
See
crying
that?
about it too.
He said, "I'm not going to tweet ever again." Then he deleted that tweet and tweeted again.
Dan Slott cries about everything. Dan Slott cries about everything.
Yeah. So, no, I feel like this is really overdoing it. They're overselling. Really harshly overselling both what the expected fan reaction is, but at the same time, they're going to do it just subtly enough that it'll be like, haha, if you ever want these together, Peter's now dating a woman a decade older than him that can't have kids. He's going to be forever a stepdad. He can never basically be a father now. Haha, fuck you, fans.
So what's the big shocking moment? This is supposed to be the biggest shocker in 50 years of Spider-Man we're supposed to be getting, right?
Yeah.
What they're selling. So it's either MJ's going to die, right? Peter's going to die. I've heard someone say they think Mary Jane is going to marry the Paul guy, which
Somebody gonna die. Somebody gonna die. Somebody gonna.
Or
die.
do you think maybe Peter comes out as gay or something?
Yeah, him and Paul getting a relationship. That's the big shocker.
Nah,
That
that
would
would
be-
They
the biggest shocker
they
for
make
Peter.
Mary Jane the cuck. That's the big shocker.
They wouldn't call that a shocker though. They
we
would call
found
that.
out-
They wouldn't call that a shocker. They would say a big event is happening. They wouldn't call it a shocker. Somebody's
Honestly,
gonna
the
die.
biggest thing I could think of is killing Mary Jane, and at this point, that theory has been discussed so much, I don't think
wouldn't be
anybody would be
shocking.
shocked by it. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, especially whenever like the fallen friend thing. I still think that has to do with MJ dying. I still do.
Fallen Friend #1, where they didn't show the cover.
Yeah. And they don't even tell you the creative team, except for that it happens to be out right when this, that issue, Amazing Spider-Man 26 will be coming out. It happens
It
to be
just
coming
so
out
happens
immediately
that
after.
Kurt Wagner has to become Spider-Man. Maybe Pete dies.
I
hope
think
everybody-
they kill them both.
I hope they all
no,
die.
no, because by the way, what did Peter ever do? What was that thing with the fucking explosion?
He didn't do anything. He got pushed through a portal, and an energy blast kind of followed him through when he fell and created the crater. So technically, he didn't do anything at all.
Oh, okay. So
In the
great.
middle of nowhere, right? It's like
Yeah,
nobody was
like,
hurt.
It was like in a cornfield in the middle of York.
No one
But
was
he
killed.
left
He
her in
buried
a
his-
multiverse for 8 years or 10 years or something. That's why everyone's mad at him.
Yeah, but it wasn't his choice. He got pushed through the portal. She
Oh.
pushed him out.
You know
She
what?
pushed him through. Yeah, yeah.
I figured it out. I figured out what they're going to do to Peter. His bits, his twig and berries, he's going to lose it, so he's forever Spider Eunuch. That way, he can't be happy with any relationship. Can't be happy with
They're gonna
Black
make him
Cat.
asexual?
Yeah, they are going to make him asexual because he'll lose the twig and berries and not know what to do and not have any drive anymore and not want to be in any relationships. So he won't be with Black Cat. He won't be with Mary Jane. He won't be.
Maybe he
back with
marries Black Cat. Maybe that's the big shock.
He won't.
Would
That's
that
not
be a
a
big enough
shocker.
shock?
He
No.
won't be with
Who
resurrected
cares?
mean, if it's gonna be a
Gwen
shock-
Stacy. He'll be Spider Eunuch, Spider Incel.
Look, if it's going to be shocking, it's somebody has to die. That's the only thing that can really hit as
Didn't
a
he
shock.
already? Did
And
he
if
already
it's not-
marry Black
he-
Cat?
Yeah, Peter's already been dead. I don't know how many times. So who cares?
Yeah.
And if it's MJ, it's already been discussed to death. So I don't think anybody cares. The only thing
So
that
it's
can
Aunt
probably,
May?
maybe
Could
here,
be.
here would
That's
be here
one
would
of
be
the
a shock.
theories.
What if MJ killed Aunt May? What if
Ooh.
MJ killed Aunt May?
Okay, that'll
Oh.
be a big shocker.
What if Aunt May
Kills
shoots
MJ?
MJ? Or what if what if Aunt May kills the Marvel Universe?
That would be a big shocker.
That's what I
like
want. That's the story that I actually want.
that. What
That
if
might
Aunt
get
May
me
is the one that knows all? What's the Marvel
the
guy
one
name?
above all?
What if she's
Yeah.
the one above
no,
all?
no, no.
Beyonder? Maybe she's a Beyonder or something.
I want to see MJ, or I'm sorry, Aunt May in a Punisher kills the Marvel Universe
I'm gonna actually buy that.
story where it's Aunt May in the Punisher skull with fucking machine guns and killing all the heroes.
Okay, you want one? Here's a theory. You want a theory? I'm going to put on my writer hat. Here's my theory. Mephisto is going to come back, and he's going to say, "You can undo Mary Jane, Paul, the kids, and all of it, and you can have your one more day back, but you've got to give me Aunt May." And he decides to give up Aunt May.
That sounds too smart. They'll
That'd be
never
kinda
do
good.
it.
Well, that's because I said it.
People
That's
would
why.
like that, though.
And
I don't think people would hate it.
and they get to do something that they've really wanted to do, which is make fans hate Peter for making an unheroic choice.
Right.
What if Peter kills off Miles Morales? That would be
Nobody
shocking.
cares about
That
Miles
that
Morales.
that would actually be we would consider
That
that
would never
an
happen.
improvement.
Never.
He kicks Miles Morales into a parallel universe, and then they go away forever. Oh, and then he starts throwing all the other spiders into a rocket ship and shoots them into the sun.
The problem is they're comparing this to the death of Gwen Stacy. And when that happened, Gwen Stacy was a very popular character. And when she died, people were very upset. Who are they going to kill besides Peter that would upset people? Maybe
Exactly
Mary
to
Jane,
that
I
point,
guess.
and that's why I come up with that idea is because it wouldn't be the death that's the upsetting part. It's the
be the
circumstances
choice.
beyond Peter having to make that choice that makes it upsetting. That's why I like that idea. It's a theory. We'll see.
Is anybody
Dylan,
reading the Miles
you've read a lot
Morales
of comic books.
Spider-Man?
What do you? Are we on to anything? What do you think's the big shocker?
I think what Doc was saying is correct. I think it's going to be a dud. I think they're trying to hype it up. I don't think it's going to be anything that big, because I mean they've been regularly just pissing off the fans with every issue. So now they're like, but this one's really going to make you upset. I don't think there's going to be anything that big, to be honest.
The Spidey Mobile comes back full time.
Yeah, I think it's just
Yeah.
going to be something very
Hey,
anticlimactic.
hold on. Slot already did that.
Yep. He's a parallel.
Oh, he did. Yeah, you're right. That's so bad.
So stupid. So stupid.
Guys in the chat, they were asking, is anyone actually reading the Miles Morales Spider-Man book? Because I've heard it's so much better than the current ASM book. Controversial, I don't know.
I've read the first couple issues. It was okay, but I think the problem that you have there with that series is not that it's bad, and it's written by Cody Ziegler, which is shocking that it's not terrible. It's that it's basically just telling Spider-Man stories all over again.
The problem,
okay.
You
the
just take the
problem
Spider-Man
with
out and replace it with Miles. He's facing off against Vulture or a version of the Vulture. He's facing off against Scorpion or a version of the Scorpion. You might as well just read Spider-Man if that's what you're going to do.
the problem with the Miles Morales comic is that it's a Miles Morales comic, and it will never sell in a world where there's a Peter Parker comic. Sorry, that is the absolute 100% truth.
Well, you can always sell so many Spider-Man books.
Yeah. Well, Batman is still now. Granted, Spider-Man has finally overtaken Batman again. I mean, granted, that's because of Batman saturation. But right now, they don't have the problem. I will say Marvel has one thing going for it. It does not have the Peter Parker Spider-Man saturation problem that they do in DC with the Bat book saturation problem. You don't have that level of it. There's only
3 Batman books coming out in July.
There's only 2
No way.
actual Spider-Man titled books. Miles Morales does not count, even though you slap Spider-Man on the cover. It doesn't count.
It says Spider-Man though, Doc. It's a
I don't
Spider-Man
give.
book.
I don't give a fuck. It's like having Batman with
Like I am
goddamn.
Batman.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, they did it already.
yeah, it is. It's the equivalent of I Am Batman. It doesn't count as a Batman book. It counts as a Bat book, but not a Batman book because it's not Batman.
It literally says I am Batman.
Yeah, and it says
it's Batman adjacent.
and it says Miles Morales Spider-Man. Neither book has Spider-Man or Batman. They have guys calling themselves that.
I think at this point, when it comes to categorization or grouping, if it's a character that has anything either from their origin or for what they're associated with Gotham, it's a Bat book. I think that's just the way people look at it.
And once
I
again,
call him Batman Associated.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Bat books, Bat
Harley
family
Quinn,
books,
Joker.
but
Bat
there's
family,
a difference. But you know what? Joker is not a Batman book. It is a Bat book. It is a Bat family book. It is a Batman adjacent, related, whatever book. It is
What
not
if
a
Batman's
Batman
on the
book.
cover?
Doesn't matter. It's not a
He's
Batman
fighting
book.
Batman.
It's not a Batman book because it's not Batman in the title. Although Detective Comics doesn't have Batman in the title. So.
I mean, the other way to look at it is none of these books would exist without Batman first. They all come from or are sourced from Batman in some capacity.
Yeah. No. My point is you can be a Bat book without being a Batman book, but you can't be a Batman book without being a Bat book. The same way you could be a Spider book without being a Spider-Man book.
Man,
But
you
you
made
can't
things
be
really confusing, Doc.
Well, Spider-Woman isn't a Spider-Man book. It's a Spider book, but not a Spider-Man book. You get my point?
Yeah.
But and they don't have Marvel doesn't have the problem with Spider-Man saturation. DC has the problem with Batman saturation, where there's too many books with Bruce Wayne Batman as the main character and the title character all running around at once. Marvel has 2 Spider-Man.
Marvel's big problem is they're promising fans are going to hate ASM 26, Doc.
Yeah,
And you don't think there's a chance that Spider-Man comes out as gay? I think that's a good chance that people will hate that and will be shocked.
I still think it's better chance he comes out as a eunuch.
Beta J, is there pot in that brownie, or do you?
Do
have,
you
like,
see how many blueberries in this bad boy?
Oh, those
Look at
blueberry. I
that.
thought they were chocolate chips. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
That's blueberry, man.
Well, I think I would be comfortable in saying that people are not going to hate it. I think people are more likely to not care.
Well, I think they're
they're gonna
they
say,
told them that they're going to hate it.
Just because you're told to hate something doesn't mean you will. I mean,
You got to check it out. It's like a car wreck.
yeah. I mean,
There's one around the corner, I gotta go
people-
check it out.
people will check
Might
it
be a
out.
big
They will
deal.
definitely be curious, and you're going to have people be grumpy for about a couple days. But then after that, they're going to be like, they hate Spider-Man. They don't like what we want, so we don't care.
Can I be
What about
honest? Let me be honest. Let me
Apathy
be honest
is what
real quick,
they're
real
generating.
fast. I'm gonna be honest real quick, real fast. It's just like Doc said. They hyping it up because I actually read the article this time, Wes. They're hyping it up. How many Spider-Man comics is in existence right now? It's nothing new that you can really do at this point, except kill somebody, and that's not new. Peter
If you
Parker,
count-
he died. Mary Jane died. Aunt May died. Everybody freaking died. What
You're
else
at
can you do?
You're at about 1,500 total comics that
Yeah.
have been Spider-Man in the title between Web of, Spectacular, Adjectiveless, Amazing,
All right.
blah, blah, blah.
I mean, but
Animal,
if you
you're
count
about
what's on the
1,500.
shelf right now for Spider-Man and Spider-Man adjacent, and I count symbiotes in that, there's probably about 7 or 8 titles right now.
So they're also saying that in issue 31, it's going to be a big wedding issue of Amazing Spider-Man. Tombstone, is it his son or his daughter that's marrying the girl?
Daughter.
It's the daughter
His
marrying
daughter.
Robbie.
Robbie.
I think it's Robbie's son.
Yeah, Robbie
Yeah.
Robinson's son.
That doesn't feel like a wedding issue to me, but they're going to try and play it up like it is. It's going to be a plus-size issue. And then that's leading out into another Spider-Man event. Gabe,
Yes.
what is wrong with you? Why are you? I feel like this is your fault.
Look,
I,
this Spider-Man.
I will be the first one to tell you I'm tired of the events.
these freaking events.
Especially when you look at the most recent Spider-Man event, which was Dark Web. That was garbage. That
was
event
awful.
That was hot garbage. And so
non-event.
if we're looking at bringing up another event in less than 6 months from the time Dark Web ended, and it's with the same creative teams, you're not instilling me with confidence. You're not giving me something to look forward to. I want events to be special. I want them to be something to look forward to. And if
Feels like an
past
annual
behavior is
requirement.
indication, if past behavior is an indication of future behavior, you are not giving me something to look forward to.
This Spider Wedding reeks of North Star and what the fuck's his name wedding from Astonishing X-Men. Nobody gives a shit. And
Was
literally
that the
everyone
one where Captain America was slurping that guy for like making dinner?
no,
Remember
that
in X-Men?
well, yeah,
Whose-
but that
whose
that
husband was
happened.
that?
That was North Star's husband, the guy whose name nobody even remembers.
Hey,
Yeah, just remember that issue where the Captain
Yeah,
America
the-
just kept talking to him?
Yeah, during Hellfire Gala, the first one where he was just like obsessed with him,
Your
and
dinner is amazing. It's like, what
and
is he talking
also
about this?
apparently Captain America is going to bang North Star's husband.
dang.
He was very impressed.
Yeah,
What
but
what
yeah.
wedding issues was the only good issues that everybody gave a freak about?
The
There's-
Thing's wedding.
Wasn't it Cyclops
No,
and Jean and
no.
Black Panther and Storm?
No,
What was the-
nobody-
Black Panther's Storm.
There's more?
Man, you're about
No,
to set
the-
that up.
the-
I'm going
only-
way back. If you want to talk about a wedding issue that people actually cared about, it was
Yes, sir.
Reed Richards and Sue Storm.
no, it was well, yeah, maybe, but I'm talking more
This
recent.
is the
would be-
first big
Oh, yeah, yeah.
crossover with every
Superman and
character in
Lois
it.
Lane.
Yeah,
Superman and Lois
I
Lane.
remember that.
Superman and Lois.
Yep.
That wedding. Gene and Scott,
Yeah.
because that was a big deal.
Wolverine didn't show up. He was pissed.
Yeah. Amazing Spider-Man Annual 21, which was Peter and MJ, their
Oh, I
wedding,
used to have that.
and Fantastic Four, the Fantastic Four wedding. The last time anybody got hyped for a wedding was
Batman.
and we
Yeah.
all saw what they did. So and the previous time, I mean, Marvel tried to hype Black Panther Storm. Guess what? Nobody gave a shit about that wedding because they established their history like 4 months before the wedding. There was zero history of Storm. You know what would have been a bigger wedding? Storm and Forge. That would have been a bigger wedding because
they
they had
was a
been
couple.
building for it for
Yeah.
15, 20 years.
It was a couple. I remember that.
Instead, they came out of left field, stuck Black Panther and Storm together because they're both sort of from Africa.
Well, I got the cover. I never did
They're
read
not
the book.
sort of from Africa. They're both from Africa, Doc.
Yeah, no. I mean,
She's not from Wakanda, though.
no. They
Wakanda's not a real place.
No.
She's in Egypt,
For-
right?
She was in Egypt, but they
Yeah,
established
she's a
some.
thief.
They retconned in some bullshit childhood interactions between the two that somehow destined them to get married. Like
I just
4
like the
months.
cover, so I bought it. Okay.
They decided that we're going to marry Black Panther and Storm, and then they had to make it make sense. They had to reverse engineer a relationship, and they only had like 4 months to do it from the time that they made the decision. That
Doc,
we're gonna
Yule
do it.
says you're out of left field. He says the MJ Peter getting hitched thing was the most bullshit thing ever.
The MJ Peter getting hitched thing was shoved in there, and that's the reason why it was in an annual, because they wanted the comic to beat Stan Lee's strip to doing it. Stan was already building to it for years in his comic strip, and the Spider-Man comic strip every fucking Sunday morning or Saturday, whatever. What day did they have the comics in the
Sunday.
newspaper?
Sunday.
Sunday. Okay, yeah. In the Sunday paper, he had been building to that for like 2 years in the strips, and comics didn't want the strips to beat the comic book, so they shoehorned it into an annual.
Do you know if you still like MJ and Peter together, they kept making those comic books in Mexico? She never died, or they
No,
never
that-
had one more day, or any of that stuff.
You mean Gwen?
Gwen Stacy? Gwen Stacy, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, do y'all like MJ and Peter, or do y'all like Peter and Gwen, or do y'all like Peter and Black Cat?
Peter and MJ. She's an actual character. Gwen was a teenage fantasy.
What do
Peter
you
and
guys
MJ,
like?
absolutely, forever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not Felicia. Felicia's.
Felicia Hardy.
Yeah, I know who you
They're
mean.
trying to make her into Elektra or whatever, but it'll never work.
She's the bad girl that he could never keep up with.
She's
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to
Catwoman.
make. Yeah,
She's
basically.
fucking Catwoman.
Yeah,
she's
that's
it.
basically-
Yeah, but she's a good character. I like her. She's good.
Well,
She's not
yeah,
a
you
bad
probably like Catwoman. It's the same. character.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorites. I like Catwoman. Yeah.
They were in college. Man, you was having a conversation with you, Doc. You should keep up.
Hey, I'm looking at yours profile picture. Why is it like he's about to sell me a bunch of weed? Like he got
No,
a bunch
but-
of weed.
but-
in
but
there.
Because he's about to sell you a bunch of weed.
Maybe. Good chance.
But Yule speaks from the comic shop owner's point of view. So I mean, he at least understands better than anybody, at least any of us. I think understands what the impact of these decisions on sales. That's an important. That's why I trust Yule's.
I'm certain that they're going to sell out
Point
of
of
ASM 26.
Yeah, it'll probably sell great. The question is about
But
what
if people
about
hate it
the
as much as
terms-
they're saying they will, I don't think 27 is going to sell
Here's-
great.
I think it's going to be more speculators and hate purchasers. People are just so curious and would just want to know. But once you get past that, the lasting impacts won't be what they think it is.
I don't think you're going to get it. I don't think you're going to draw in more than 10% beyond what they normally sell on like the regular, and because they're risking, if this does end up being something big and some like big final nail in the coffin of Peter MJ,
I think that already happened.
No. I mean, look, no, it did not already happen because
She's
there
got
was
2 kids by another dude. They're together.
well, yeah, they keep. All we knew was she was with some other guy and there were kids involved. Up until like a month ago, we didn't even know that they were maybe her kids.
They called her mommy.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that she's not the stepmom. They're fucking kids. They often call the stepmom mom, especially if the mom is dead. Especially if the mother is dead and they've known her for a while.
She's not dead. She's MJ.
My point was we didn't fucking know this. They could have written their way out of this. They keep putting it and adding more and more potential obstructions that you can't easily write your way out of. Everything up until then was easily written out of. You're making it far harder to write your way out of what they've done and what they are doing. And if you put that final nail in the coffin that there is 0% chance that it's ever going to be able to reestablish the old Peter MJ relationship. In some way, shape, or form, you will just get complete apathy. You're going to have people just tune out permanently.
Here's the other option where they can undo the kids with the Paul thing, that whole thing, without killing anybody, and still get everybody really mad at Zeb Wells. Here's the other option of how that could happen: is some kind of event happens, and it turned out to all be a dream, like the last year and a half never even happened. Like
Or they could do a laser.
Like some kind of weird
Change
matrixy delusion inside Peter's head. Like he's strapped to a machine and it was just some kind of weird fantasy.
Well, yeah,
they undoes all that, resets the status quo right before issue number 1, where they decide to move in together, and then basically the whole year is a waste, and that's why everybody would hate Wells.
No, you could absolutely Bobby Ewing this shit.
Yeah, it was all
you
Dallas. Yeah, from Dallas.
Look,
yeah.
Nice reference, Doc.
And that's always an option on the table.
Nobody in chat is old enough to remember that.
Hey, I am even like I've said, do you want to fix the entire Marvel universe for the last 20 years? Have Franklin Richards wake up from the fucking scroll flying chipmunk flu and find out the entire 20 years has been a hallucination, a reality altered hallucination. You could fix the entire Marvel universe. You could always Bobby Ewing.
Simmer down. Incubus is saying that Peter is a cuck. He says Gwen cheated on Peter with Norman. MJ cheated on Peter with some actor guy named Jason. Felicia did it with the Foreigner, and Betty did it with Flash Thompson. He's getting what he deserves.
Incorrect. Felicia cheats on Peter with everybody.
Yeah, Felicia's a fucking
She
hoe.
She gets
Oh
around.
my goodness, you can't say that about her.
She's a hoe.
It's true. Don't look
Doc,
at
do
me,
you
look
just
at
want to
Ryder.
admit that you've been supporting a cuck for 40 years?
MJ never cheated on him whenever they were together, and they did
They
have
were on a break.
they had separations, but she never slept with anybody. If anything, Peter was the one cuck queening her.
Oh man, thanks for bringing back Ross, Doc. That's like the best moment in Friends history.
Hey, Chad,
We're on
this
a
is,
break.
this is the only comic show where you get a Dallas and a Friends reference in the within a 5-minute time span.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, now my dog wants to get in here. Let's hear what the people have to say. We do have some super chats to catch up on. Common Sense says Starling is somewhat of a copy of Felicia and Wells, making Peter with Felicia's copy of Miles and Starling. Wells plagiarized Saladin Ahmed, who plagiarized old Peter Parker stories. It's a freaking paradox. We are
I mean,
basically
that's
reading the
a
same
good.
stories
It's a
over and
good
over.
case for saying originality is dead within Marvel.
You know who predicted that? Alan Moore.
Yeah.
You said because of all these multiverses, you're just going to go to different universes to tell the same stories over and over.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
right.
exactly the problem we just pointed out previously with the Miles Morales series. All it's doing is retelling the same Spider-Man stories, just using Miles instead of Peter.
But what the freak is Miles' name?
Miles,
Why the freak that he doesn't have a name?
because Marvel is
Miles
stupid.
Morales.
Because
Well, I
you
Man,
know what?
he's Spider-Man.
Because nobody
Spider-Man.
actually calls him Spider-Man, because when you say Spider-Man, you mean Peter. Everyone will mean Peter, and everyone will always mean Peter. So as long as they keep trying to make him called Spider-Man, everyone, the only way you can actually know who they're talking about is by calling him Miles Morales.
Well, let's look at the elephant in the room and just call him the Black Spider-Man. Just
Yeah.
say, hey, Black
Call him
Spider-Man,
that
come
too.
here. Black Spider-Man.
Yeah,
We
we
could
could.
call him Black
Spider-Man.
Spidey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just call him Black Spider-Man.
You could call him Black Spidey. Nobody's going to care. We've always said he needed his own unique name.
I don't think they would get good headlines for that one.
Black
No, they-
Spider-Man.
No, I
Black
mean you could
Spider-Man.
go Wolf Spider. You could do all kinds of
No.
spider type
the
names.
best the best one that I heard was, I think, Kid Arachnid.
Kid
would have
Arachnid,
been-
there we go.
That would have been unique
Spider-Boy.
enough.
But
Spider
that characters in there.
Black Panther, Black Spider. It's simple.
A Black Panther is actually an animal. It is a
What?
panther that is all black, but it
Yeah,
still
you
has
have
spots.
spiders that are actually black,
Like
Yes,
a Black
and-
Widow.
not red and blue. Okay.
Nice.
Should we call him Black Widow? Maybe.
No,
Who knows?
that
No-
name is already taken.
Common Sense also says, part of me believes MJ's death might be a fake out and Paul might be the one who dies, because Marvel still believes the women in Fridge Myth. But if MJ does die, it's going to be a big backlash in Marvel's ruin. It's not going to be Paul dying, because no one would care. That won't be the biggest shock in 50 years. It has to be someone that you actually care about. That will make people mad. I mean, they said people are going to be angry and you can't go to conventions.
They'll kill Peter, or I mean Paul and the kids, and then MJ will
The
realize
Iraq
that-
Knight.
Yeah, the Iraq Knight. They will then well, actually that would be a callback to the Spider-Man #1, the Todd McFarlane one. It said Legend of the Iraq Knight. In there
Somebody in the
was-
chat is right too. They do have a Black Spider. It's in
But-
DC.
But so no, they'll kill Paul and the kids in their minivan or something, and now
It'll be Peter's fault, Doc, as well. They'll make it Peter's fault. Won't they?
Peter did it. That was shocking.
and then MJ will be a 40-year-old woman that lost her kids and probably
Stop,
starting
why are you
menopause.
trashing on 40-year-old ladies? You don't date anyone under 45.
I'm pretty confident that if we looked at Doc's browser history, that he has a lot of love for older ladies.
Yeah, the term MILF comes up a lot.
I
Put it
did
up
that
way.
when I was in my 20s. Now it's,
Now it's 50-year-olds. All right.
now it's 30-year-olds.
38-year-olds.
No, my point is, though, Now you find out that she can't have kids anymore, and she'll be an old maid.
I don't think people would care about that in comic books. I don't
Nobody
go,
would care
wow,
about
she looks
that.
really fertile. That'd be a great one to hook up with. Look at the hips on that one.
It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with closing the door on Peter and MJ ever having the nuclear family. That's the whole point. They want to close that door.
It's the multiverse, man. You got
Well,
Doctor
and
Strange,
that's
you got
exactly why
Doctor-
it's not shocking, because anything that they can do, they can undo.
How dare
The biggest shock is they
So
kill
Doc's just
Peter.
Trying to
and
say
give
she's
MJ's
damaged
powers.
goods. Is that what you're trying to say, Doc?
Yes, certainly.
My goodness.
Great,
a
what you
terrible
say?
thing to say
Great
about a
said
woman.
something, y'all. What Great say?
Oh no, just saying the biggest shot they could possibly do, which they won't, but they'll kill Peter and they'll give Mary Jane his powers, and she'll become the new
She'll be Spider-Man.
Okay, now that's
ma'am, Spider
Oh,
Man.
that was
wait,
worse.
hold on.
Okay, I can see that, Great.
I figured it out. Since J. Michael Straczynski is coming back for Marvel Age 1000,
Oh yeah,
they're going to go with Spider-Man Reign, and you're going to find out that MJ now has cancer from his radioactive goo.
Oh, that's
Man,
that
we
would
already
be a
got
good
that
one.
in Watchmen.
Yeah, we got it. We got it in Spider-Man Reign.
Oh yeah, that
too.
was in Watchmen with the blue guy.
He gave her cervical cancer from, getting
Going too deep.
Dr.
uh-huh.
Dr. Manhattan. That's it.
Spider-Man gave MJ cancer from
That
it
would be a
too.
good story though. Still, even if they
They
still
did-
J.
my
Michael
point is they already
Straczynski.
did it
Oh,
Yeah.
in
be shocking.
Spider-Man Reign.
oh, okay. See, that's what I'm
Blade
saying. There's so many comics out there. What else can you do? It's
Hulk
a
did it
million
too
of
with Betty. Oh my goodness. Everyone's giving people cancer with sex. Blade Kramer says Shane Davis made contention that if they kill MJ, it's part of making it easier to use the IP of Spider-Man in other medias.
them. Lane Kramer, thank you for the super chat, but we just don't care. You know? We just don't care.
I don't understand how that works.
Yeah.
Spider-Man in other mediums is like video games, cartoons, coloring books.
And they
voice
always have
boxes.
MJ in there.
Well, I
they don't.
think the idea there.
Yes,
I mean,
they do.
I don't know what Lane is referring to specifically with Shane, but I think the idea there is it's a part of this larger mentality from Marvel that says if you put Peter and MJ together as a married couple or a nuclear family, then people are going to
Less
want
exciting.
that in films, and they're going to want that in the cartoons, and they're going to want that in every other.
okay.
And they don't want to do that, so they're trying to keep Peter as the Bachelor to make him consistent with other media formats.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
He's not
Yeah.
a bachelor. He's a cuck. Wade says, by the way, are Cyclops and Jean still married, Doc?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know, are they? But I think they're still having their little sandwich party with Wolverine, maybe.
God,
Also-
really?
Bunkin?
Also, I was wrong. Rain wasn't done by Straczynski; it was done by Carrie Andrews, which is actually worse.
Hey, I like Carrie Andrews. Be careful.
Hold on.
Well, Carrie Andrews is going to. I think he's one of the people that's going to be working on that wedding event, right? Did I see
Okay,
that
so don't trust him ever. He's a terrible writer.
Man,
He
he's
might be
doing
a-
erratic. Erratic's really good.
I like that fantasy thing he did where Captain America was riding that thing, that lion with wings.
I like the first couple issues, and that thing fell apart for me.
it. Did
but-
it did? I agree. It sucked later on, most definitely.
Yeah. Dylan Lindsay says, hello, everyone. Death isn't shocking in comics anymore. The real shock would be retconning everything and putting Peter and MJ back together. Not going to happen, but that would indeed shock everyone.
It
Delivering
would,
a story
but it
people
wouldn't
wanted
make
to
people
read would be
mad.
shocking.
It wouldn't make people
would.
mad.
No, man, that's not it.
The only person that would be mad about that is Yule, and normally has normal takes, but he's kind of insane. It's like that's his Predator moment, Gabe. Remember when you reviewed that Predator comic book and you said it was the best comic of the year?
Am I going to have to address this controversy every time I come on the
I'm
show?
just
Is
saying,
that how
it's
that
like-
happens?
Like everyone's entitled to a bad opinion, I guess.
Dylan, I would give you $10 if you let me have that little thing. I don't know what it is, but I want to buy it. Can I buy that little thing?
Hey, actually,
Isn't it called a sugar baby? I think.
No, that's a little badger, ain't it? That's a badger.
hold on. I need to correct my previous because I just dawned on me.
So
something.
Doc is wrong. Okay, I like this show. Doctor's Wrong show.
Cyclops and Jean are no longer married. Your marriage ends when you die, and they've both died like a dozen times. So you don't get it back without having a new wedding.
There you go.
So
Yeah,
they're
Jay,
not married because they just keep dying.
Yeah, Jay, it's called a sugar glider, or sometimes
Sugar
a sugar
glider.
Sugar glider.
That's the name of the animal?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was a badger.
There's a type of monkey here in the Philippines
Uh-huh.
that if you leave it alone and you don't interact with it, if you kept it as a pet, it will literally go insane and kill itself.
Oh, snap.
Definitely don't get one of those. They got
That's
these big
depressing.
crazy eyes, man.
That's depressing, man.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah, they're not. You're not allowed to keep them as pets anymore. Remix 36720. Maybe it's time for readers to give up a modern Spider-Man just since it's just bad fanfic. Read the great classics. 62 to 2007 in alt continuity.
Maximum Carnage is the best event in Spider-Man history. Yes, I said it, and I don't care if you get angry at me.
You know, for all this talk of Amazing Spider-Man under Zeb Wells, there's another Spider-Man title going on right now with Dan Slott.
It's
and
worse.
I think that title is much worse. It is
Yeah,
more
I think
And-
so too.
And no one's buying it.
Yeah, nobody
Which is
cares.
even
Because
funnier.
everybody, because
Stop
it is so
that.
overdone with the Spider-Verse. It's supposed to be the end of the Spider-Verse, but it's got
It made it bigger.
It's a massive army of derivatives, and who cares about that?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely go back and if you're looking for good Spider-Man, absolutely. There have been some modern stuff that's absolutely worth reading after 2007. I would read Spider-Man Life Story. I think for the most part, the first 2/3 of that is really good. The Chip Zdarsky Spectacular Spider-Man after his first trade on that one. Pretty good stuff. The Nick Spencer stuff was really good at times.
No, I like the dude that was a super dope Spider-Man artist, and now he sucks. What's that guy name? He was like
Mark
real
Bagley?
dope. Bagley, yeah. Bagley's run on Bagley's run is dope. I like Bagley's run.
Mark Bagley's the artist on Slot Spider-Man run right now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He
look
sucks
right.
now. No offense, and not trying to be mean, but
Nah,
how did y'all?
that was all out of love.
How was his art so beautiful and dynamic, and now we just got How did that happen?
I'm not sure. Calvin says, I read Miles Morales. Better to compare the Wells and Rabi is a great and original villain. Doc wish Ziegler elevated other Miles original villains.
What original villains? He'd need some first because he doesn't have any.
I think he's saying Rabble.
Who? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, he'd need some original villains. Instead, he just gets Peter's hand-me-downs. Honestly,
Fuel
that's
says
the way.
the 90s Spider-Man was the all-time trashiest Spider-Man ever. Is that true?
He's not too far off. There was some really, let's just say, borderline adult moments in ASM during the
A lot of sex.
McFarlane, Larson, and early Bagley eras on ASM. Yeah, there was a lot of fairly, well, at least daytime soap opera level near nudity.
We got you. We got what you're putting down there, Doc. He also says Perk said Miles Morales should go public identity, which is stupid because Rabble knows Miles. Gone after his loved one and burn his house down. No hero should ever tell their secret identity.
I
unless you're
agree.
Tony Stark, and they can hire security.
Tony Stark.
I think the
It works
larger
for
issue there
Tony
is that
Stark. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think the larger issue is, how you do it is up for debate, but I think the larger issue is Miles continuing to hold on to the Spider-Man identity is what's not working. So he needs to do something different. Now, whether he goes public or he changes to a different, handle or superhero call sign or whatever you want to call it, he's never going to be able to differentiate himself as long as he continues to call himself Spider-Man. And that
How about Fang? He should go by Fang.
Dang.
They already Marvel already has a Fang.
How about Dagger?
They already have a
No,
dagger.
They already have
It's already
Dagger,
a dagger.
Cloak and Dagger.
Dang, well, I'm out
What's
of them
that
now.
stuff that spiders have in their teeth? Venom.
Venom?
Oh, I forget.
No.
You are not saying Venom, sir. Oh, damn it, Fatal J. That was stupider than me. No one remembers Fang. Venom's got
He's-
3 books.
Fang's in the fucking Guardian or the Imperial Guard.
Whoa, what really, Doc? The Imperial Guard. Everyone knows Fang.
Doc, every time you
Fucking
say
Venom.
ASM, I'm thinking about those girls that be whispering on YouTube and they got those.
You mean ASMR?
Yeah, you know, the girls be like, listen to me.
I don't understand. Is that supposed to like relax?
What in the fuck is that noise?
Okay, what are you doing?
He doing
about
ASMR.
I'm going to start it up on the ASMR channel. Here we go.
No.
Stop
What
that
about
now.
Webmaster, guys? Webmaster
never
or
got it.
Master Web?
Webmaster, Doc.
That sounds too BDSM for
Sounds like the internet.
That sounds like a
browsers
villain,
and-
though. A villain webmaster. No, that's not working.
The
Oh.
Gag Ball. That's what we should call him. Be a good name.
Ball
People
gag?
remember it.
Black Spider-Man. That's it. That's Black Spider-Man.
We'll call him Dental Dam at that point.
Thank goodness. Rate that 7. Black Panther and Storm got married because Black Panther's book was written by celeb Hollywood writer-director who wanted them to get married, and Marvel was afraid to tell him no because he was a celeb writer. God,
was
what's
that?
the name of that guy? It's I know his name, but
Was it
he's not a
Reggie
celebrity.
Hudlin?
Yes, it's
I
Reggie
was thinking
Hudlin.
Reggie Hudlin, too, the dude that directed House Party.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
look,
He's not
he
a
was
celebrity.
he was fairly. I think he was fairly high up at BET, but I don't really think he's that big of a deal, even in
No
Hollywood.
one knows who he is.
Yeah, he owns. I mean, he's one of the part owners of what's the Static Peak, the company
Milestone.
Milestone. Yeah,
Yeah, he's the reason it sucks balls. He wrote the main book.
I agree though. It
Fucking
sucks
blows.
bad now.
I mean, unless he's planning to write a feature film called Medea Goes to Wakanda, I don't think it's going to happen.
Shit ain't happening. Dylan says the real shock will be Mephisto will come up and offer MJ her marriage back with Peter, but she will choose Paul instead. That would be shocking, and that would piss the hell off everybody.
Definitely.
Good call, Dylan. Way to bring something to the table that these guys couldn't.
I like my idea better. Good job, Dylan. Good job.
Yeah, can you imagine how mad people would be if MJ picked Paul over Peter and she had the chance to get May back as well?
That's kind of a cheat, though, because they got the kids. The kids would pull her in that direction.
But she's also got
out of
another
obligation.
kid.
They would pull her in that direction. out of
Infuriating
obligation.
because it would be right there. The fans could taste it. It would be wrapped right around them or right away from them from MJ or stuff. That would be brilliant. I hope Zeb Wells does that. I think people would stop reading. LK says the worst idea. Paul and the kids are killed. Peter is responsible. MJ never forgives him, becomes his greatest villain, and is always written as sympathetic. What if she goes to a nunnery afterwards, never to be seen again?
Then she would find
Yeah.
forgiveness and come back.
Yeah. No, they have
she's
to
faced, and he can never get there again. You know what I'm saying?
until she changes her mind. I mean,
No, that's not how being a nun works, Doc.
Yeah, neither does being.
You can stop being a nun.
You could quit being a nun the same way you could quit being a mom and regain your whatever to go be a nun.
Jesus, Doc, you're really talking about the hoo-hoos today, aren't you?
Can I ask Doc a question quickly? Where's
Don't do
Doc?
it.
What would it take? What would it take to make people actually stop buying Spider-Man?
I think killing Peter.
Yeah.
Trying
killing
to
Aunt May.
legitimately replace him with either Ben or Miles.
Sexuality
yeah.
swap.
Yeah,
I've got the greatest answer. I've got the greatest answer.
And I think if you kill off MJ and like make it so that it's clear that she's not coming back anytime soon, and there's no chance of them. If you put a complete dagger in any possibility of MJ and Peter ending up back together, I think you're going to draw so much apathy that people will stop.
They've already done that, and people still buy it. What were you saying there,
There's
Gabe?
a better answer. There's a better answer. If you want people to really stop buying Spider-Man and or Amazing Spider-Man, there's one surefire way of doing it. Stop producing variant covers.
Boom. That would do it. Fatal J would never buy a comic again.
I sure would.
You'd lose half the market with no variant covers.
You know how much
Comics-
J. Scott Campbell covers I have?
Doc, I made a list of original Morales villains last December, and you said it surprised you that Miles had original villain Hateful that you forgot?
Yeah, because none of them matter. There's a difference between having villains and having villains that anyone gives a fuck about. All of the villains that Miles has are the equivalent of the one and done villains from that they added to Spider-Man or X-Men or Hulk throughout, from issue like 100 through.
When I read Miles,
400.
it's always like a gender swap version of a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah, if there is
It's Vulture, but it's a girl.
My
Like,
point.
right.
Yeah,
Well, give Rabble a little bit of credit. He's somewhat original. He's sort of a cross between Sync and Forge.
Doesn't sound original to me. It
Doesn't
sounds like
sound
it's
very-
a rap off of a sync.
But it's it's put together in a slightly different way. So it's somewhat original, not great, but it is sort of there.
my point is they're not unique enough to be memorable. They're not unique, even if they are slightly recurring. Does anyone actually give a shit? There has to be a level of give a shit that comes to readers when they see that villain's showing up that does not exist within most of the villains created for Miles or any of the other dollar fucking tree knockoff versions of real characters.
You don't
Sorry.
get excited when you see Miles Morales and there's a girl Doc Ock on the cover.
No, I didn't get excited when the girl Doc Ock was running up against Peter Parker and Ben Reilly in 1992. Why in the shit am I going to care about it now?
All right, let's simmer down. We got through Spider-Man. We still got some time for some other stuff to talk about. We haven't heard from Dylan in a while, but we do have some Superman to talk about. The first draft, the script for Superman Legacy is complete. James Gunn tweeted out there. They're doing costumes. They're in pre-production. It feels like it's moving along very fast. Do you have hopes for a James Gunn written, directed Superman movie called Legacy, Dylan?
I'm trying to. That's, but we'll see how it goes. I think like the big problem with this is they can nail everything, but if they miss the casting, it's all over because you had the perfect Superman, you got rid of him. So if everything else is perfect,
Dylan,
you get someone else.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
really
He's talking
gonna
about the
hurt.
casting, not the actual depiction of Superman.
No,
dipshit.
he's talking about Cavill. Dylan, who are you talking about right
Yeah,
now?
talk about Henry Cavill. He's
Yeah!
You're not talking about Man of Steel being perfect, right?
No, well, particularly not Batman v Superman. That what they did with Superman, that was just
Thank
horrendous. But anyways,
like
Henry,
it.
Horrendous. You want to keep dancing?
I
You're
like
horrendous?
that.
Henry Cavill was the perfect Superman. Talking about
Yeah.
the casting,
Yeah.
and if you just then go any step below that, it's gonna hurt. But we'll
What
see
about
how
Nick
things.
Cage? What if they go back to Nick Cage?
I'd be down for Nick Cage as Jor-El.
Man,
I think that would be
heck
fun.
no.
Imagine him as Jor-El. That would be fun.
It's too late.
If
It's
they
too
just had
late.
him as Jor-El.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, as
Fucking
Jor-El. As
insane
Superman,
as Jor-El.
obviously not.
I couldn't
But
take it
Jor-El,
seriously.
that could be fun. Him as
I couldn't
Jor-El.
take it seriously if he was Jor-El. I couldn't take it seriously, man.
I think
Nah.
that'd be fun. I think that'd work. Hey, dude, Kryptonians are aliens. We don't know how they are. Nick Cage would be perfect as an alien. But yeah, there's so many different avenues they could go down. I wish he would reference literally anything other than All-Star Superman. Every time he talks about it, he's like, All-Star Superman. It's like that. Stop talking about that. It's a great comic, but it's the safest thing to talk about when you're talking about Superman comics.
Well,
And-
Superman is dead by the end, basically.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
that's,
it's not
that's an end of his
something-
career kind of comic.
Yes.
That's not a beginning of the career kind of comic.
Yeah, it doesn't
But they
work.
don't never do adaptations all the way through. They just take bits and pieces and then write their own stuff to it. So I don't think it's going to be just like All-Star Superman.
Well, no, he already said that when he's talking about All-Star Superman, he doesn't mean the story. He means more of like the feeling of it and the tone.
The
He said it's not gonna
personality
be
and the
story.
heart and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just I wish he would talk about something else because he hasn't mentioned any other Superman comic. It's always All-Star every single time.
That's right. I don't like
Yeah,
the
like-
title, Dylan. What about you? Legacy. It sounds like the end, doesn't it? The end of his career. Like looking back. Legacy. It's weird.
Yeah, it's not a good title. I get he's like explained it on Twitter before, and I get where he's coming from, but I don't think it's the right
You don't
decision.
think it's John Kent is actually going to be the real Superman by the end?
Man, that was suck.
Well,
Definitely not.
It would make
No,
sense with the
man.
title and with Superman.
No, man. It's
All-Star
too early
Superman.
for that.
see,
Nah, they're not going to
that's-
do that. They
Yeah,
already
all
talked
first-
about how it's going to be early on, and it's
Yeah,
gonna be
they
like
said it's gonna be a
25
young
to
Superman,
30-year-old.
right?
Yeah, it's going to be
Yeah,
a 25
kind
to
of like
30-year-old
John Kent's
Superman.
pretty young.
No, but and I think the trouble there too is in All-Star Superman. Superman in that book, he's very he's sort of like very thoughtful and quiet. He's not a big character. He's not big in the sense that like he's expressive and he takes these big actions because he's like trying to do all these superheroic things. He's sort of like almost like he's sort of like just somebody who just quietly sits and was watching the world because he's so into his feelings about what's happening to him. So it's a very quiet, very subdued Superman. That's not bad, but it really speaks to like a Superman who is older and mature and just sort of like accepting of his place in what's happening to the world and what's happening to him as a person who is effectively dying. So if you're going to go skew younger for Superman who is like has been Superman for a few years, but not a lot, that personality doesn't seem to quite fit somebody who's younger and is still kind of coming into their own as a Superman who holds sway over the world.
You should read Man and
both
Superman.
good, but I don't see the one fitting the other necessarily.
But Gabe,
Oh, yeah,
that's the
it definitely
direction.
doesn't for an early Superman.
I think that's the direction they should take it. We're supposed to take this journey with this character for the next 10 years.
Yeah, to get to that point, to get to that sort of tone and that personality, I agree that would be the best possible direction. But if they're already stating, I want a younger Superman who can grow into the role and kind of encompass whatever we're doing with the next couple chapters. All-Star Superman is the end, not the beginning. So I'm not seeing how the two fit together very well. Yeah.
It's because it's the only Superman comic that James Gunn has read, and he knows it's a safe thing to say. It's like saying, I really like The Dark Knight Returns. It's like, well, of course.
But it's non-controversial.
It's a very safe pick.
Yeah.
So that's why.
it's safe.
Dylan, I think when they drop that casting, that's going to be the deciding factor. When they drop that casting,
That's going to be a big
Is it
deal.
going to be that Lerman kid?
No,
That's gonna be huge,
no,
man.
he already
Huge.
came out on Twitter and said that he didn't even know who Logan Lerman was.
I'm going to tell you who I think
Gunn
it
already-
is. I think that Wolfgang kid, the Wolfgang dude.
Yeah, he's
nerd?
been everywhere.
He
The
took,
nerd from
they-
Stranger Things?
No, not him. No, this is a dude
no,
from
man,
like, some
that
other
dude
Netflix show.
sucks.
No.
How many
Yeah.
Wolfgangs are there?
It's a Wolfgang
Wolfgang
out there.
Novogratz.
He's like a little chiseled.
Wolfgang
handsome young guy.
Novogratz? It's not a human name.
Look him up. Like people was messing with him
Yeah.
so bad on his Instagram that he deleted
Who
it.
is
And
it?
I think and I
He's
don't
from
think
some other Netflix show.
I don't think he deleted it for the bullying. I think he deleted it because the wave is coming his way when they reveal that he's Superman. Now that's just my thoughts, but I think it's him. I think it's that
Dean
Wolfgang guy.
Cain. That's what they should do.
Oh, okay.
Bring back a classic.
Yeah, I know that movie gets a lot of heat, but still to this day, I like Brandon Ralph. I like him
He's
in
like
that
fucking
role.
50.
I think
Well,
Ben
I'm
Ralph.
just saying, as far as if you're looking for casting that isn't Cavill, I think they did a good job with that casting. The story wasn't great, but I liked him in that role.
He looked like the guy, but he just never spoke.
See, I don't think he really looked like Superman. I think he did a good job acting wise. I don't think he really looked like Superman to me. I think he pulled it off, but I think looks wise he didn't
Me
look
too.
like Superman. And he also had like the worst
He
suit.
looks like
That suit was
Christopher Reeve.
horrible in Returns.
Yeah, that was
He
not a good
doesn't
suit,
look like
and the
Christopher
plot was basically a redo of the first Superman movie.
Wolfgang Van Halen, huh? Maybe
Who's
that's
Wolfgang
what.
Van Halen?
Make it
Everyone-
up. Where's
Wolfgang Puck next.
Wolfgang Novogratz? He looks pretty good. He's only 25 as well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
As long as
I
it's
have
not
no
another
clue if he's
Brit,
a
you know what I'm
connector.
saying? We need some Americana in that
Oh
Superman.
no, this guy's from New York, so he's American.
I agree. He should be American, man. It's Superman.
He
Come
shouldn't
on.
be from New York. He should be fucking from Kansas or something. Somebody with an accent.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a farm boy.
Okay, well, I mean, we're skating past the most obvious and the most important question of all when it comes to Superman Legacy. And if you don't get this question right, you might as well just hang it up. So,
Good thing
Ready?
Fatal J's gone.
no. Here's the most important question of all. And if you get this wrong, you're in trouble. Ready? Trunks or no trunks? Go.
Well, Trunks, of course.
Trunks.
Trunks.
Trunks, come on.
Of course.
No
You gotta
debate,
go with
Gabe.
Trunks, yeah.
Should he have a belt though? That's the question.
I like the belt.
Or at least some kind of symbol that represents a belt. I don't like the belts where it has the S symbol on the buckle.
I agree. Yeah.
There's something kind of like self-aggrandizing about that I don't
He's,
like.
he's a cowboy. He's supposed to have a belt buckle like that.
No, he's already
Some
got it on his chest.
rhinestones
Why does he
on
need
that
it on
bad
his
boy.
belt buckle? That doesn't. It just doesn't sit right with me.
Y'all talking
Fatal
about
J,
the
are
suit?
you ready for the Trunks to come back?
Okay. Lately,
Here we
I've
go.
been, I know this is the great debacle. I've been reading a lot of Golden Age Superman type stuff. Okay, the Trunks is kind of growing on me, but this is my thing. Okay, if they bring back the Trunks, don't make it look like Trunks. Give it a creative alien type.
Even
of
like
look.
a thong thing, right? A thong feel to it.
Codpiece.
Maybe they can look like boy shorts while we're
No.
at it, right?
Just
Do you
give
want
it
that? Do you want that Nick Cage banana hammock look? Is that what you? Is that what
Oh god.
no, man. Just give it an alien type Trunks look, like
Like
not
tight
just.
buttocks is what you're looking for.
Don't make it just look like he just got some briefs and put them on. Don't do that. You know, just be creative. That's all I'm asking. Because I know
No
9
white
times
friends.
out of 10 we're getting the Trunks, and it needs to be something in that crotch area that's a different color than the rest of the suit. Because even though I like the Man of Steel suit, they all the way blue. It doesn't really do it.
You can't see his moose knuckle. It's not accentuated. He's supposed to be a superhuman. There should be something there that amazes you.
Yeah,
No moose knuckle? Get out of here.
just put something down there that looks creative.
Like an arrow?
No, man, just something that's just give it a good design.
Turn the
Just-
Superman symbol into an arrow down to a
bullseye?
steroid.
Give it a bullseye right there.
But overall, I think James Gunn is going to do a good job because.
Why? I would love to hear this. Why do you think it's going to be a good job?
Because
Because I can't come up with a single reason James Gunn should be able to make a good Superman movie
Okay,
after everything I've watched.
you ever seen Brightburn?
I saw Brightburn.
Yeah.
Dylan, what you think about Brightburn?
It was okay.
I think if he can do a Brightburn, he can do a Superman story.
But that was like Brightburn was literally just a bastardization of Superman.
I know,
Yes.
I know.
So I don't
but
know if how.
He could make a Hyperion movie. He could make a Superman movie.
No, Brightburn is a prequel to The Boys.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, like, I think James Gunn is a good writer. I think he's a good writer. The Guardians of the Galaxy movies are not bad.
Doesn't
You guys-
that feel like Superman to you? Guardians of the Galaxy and
that's-
Superman. It's like peanut butter jelly.
That's
Well,
the thing. Like, I
it's
like his
gold.
Suicide Squad movie, but that doesn't mean he's gonna be good with
Exactly.
Superman.
But it has that lightheartedness that people want with Superman.
Everybody wants a lighthearted
No, no,
Superman.
no,
It's
no,
all
no,
gags
no.
and a cool soundtrack.
No. People don't want lightheartedness with Superman. I think that would
Exactly.
be a fatal mistake. Fatal mistake from Fatal J.
Okay.
So Gunn has demonstrated with his writing that he can do heart, right? He can get
Can do good
relationships,
character moments.
right? So if you're thinking
Yeah.
like between Mantis and Drax, between Rocket Raccoon and Groot, between Gamora and
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord, right? Peter Quill. So he can do relationships and he can do heart. So if
Okay.
he can capture that and put that in there, say between Clark and John and Martha Kent, and between Clark and Lois, and can kind of capture those personal emotional moments, that we can see. He's demonstrated he can do that. He can't go jokey. If
He
you go
can't
jokey,
stop himself is the problem. If you
Yeah.
watch Peacemaker, he
If he
just
goes
rips the
jokey-
shit out of Superman at the end of that one.
if he goes jokey, if he goes quippy, if he goes with like constant snark over and over again, maybe with the exception of
Yeah,
like
if he does
Lois.
James
I-
Gunn,
If Lois is giving like Clark a hard time before she knows he's Superman, and maybe he throws a couple jokes in there, okay, fine. But if you carry that snarky sort of quippy, jokey tone, you screwed up. You've
Now,
made
of
a
course,
mistake.
I know he's not gonna make it a joke comedy movie, but you
I
know,
think
of
that
course,
he will. He's
I don't
never
think he
done
will.
anything but that.
I don't think he will. Because he
Why not?
knows. Because this movie right here, if it sucks, man, it's over for DC forever. I really believe that. I believe if this doesn't
They can
hit,
still make Batman movies.
nah, man, it ain't. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be right. It's not gonna be right, man.
They can always make a Batman movie and make some money.
Fatal,
Joker made $1 billion.
Fatal J is right. If they screw up Superman, you might as well just hang it up.
You might as well hang it up.
DCU, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you
Sure,
might as well
sure
hang
is.
it up, man.
You got to get Superman right. If you can't get Superman right, then you have hired everybody you've hired to be part of this project is wrong. If you
Yeah.
screw up Superman, it's ridiculous.
It's just like if Iron Man 1 with RDJ sucked. What would be the point? What would it,
Well, they
what-
hadn't invested a 10-year plan at that point. There was a
But, I mean, when
concept
you-
they hadn't even told anyone about.
But this is the thing: when you hit with that first movie, it's just the possibilities grow. If
Yeah,
it
he made
sucks,
that role. He
where can
made
you
it.
go after suck? get better. No, it don't work
The
like that.
Hulk
with
came
movies.
right after that one, and it sucked, and they were fine.
What the
Oh, it
Hulk
didn't
was
suck. I
great.
actually
What are
like
you
that
talking
movie,
about? I'm
but
about
people
to say
didn't
you're
watch
going
it.
too far now. You're talking too fast. Quick. That movie is good. That movie is great.
So you're not
okay.
as optimistic as Fatal J, right, Dylan? Because you actually like Superman.
I'm trying to be optimistic, but it's hard with James Gunn because, like you said, he can't help himself. With just he gets too much into it. Peacemaker was him completely unfiltered because at least it
Yeah.
felt like there's some like quality control with his jokes in the movies. With the show, it was literally every single joke that popped into his head he put on the screen.
Now,
And it
Dylan,
was just
don't get me wrong.
constant.
I'm not a liker of James Gunn. I just believe he can pull off a great movie.
Well, he wrote the only good Zack Snyder movie ever made.
Well, I don't like James Gunn for personal reasons because of the kid jokes. It's too much. I don't like that stuff. Keep that stuff out of the movies, okay? It's always
I
some
don't
kind
think
of
there'll
kid
be any
joke.
pedophilia jokes in the movie.
I hope not. I really do. I really hope not. But besides that, because that Peacemaker was full of those kiddie type.
It was
stupid
all
jokes.
dick and fart and poop in there.
Yeah.
Directions
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
It was just
so-
everything.
But I still believe he can pull it off. He can do a great movie.
He can definitely make a good movie. Nothing he's done yet has shown me he can make a good Superman movie. Heck, the
Dylan,
ones
let me
that-
ask you this
Yes.
though: does this need to be a good movie, or it needs to be a fantastic, classic, legendary type movie?
It just needs to be a really good Superman movie.
Yeah, that's all we want.
Just a good Superman movie is enough. Obviously, you want more than that, but that's all we need right now because we haven't had
Okay.
that in a long time. But
I'm going to add to that. So a piece that keeps getting left, or I won't say left out, just people don't spend as much time on it as maybe I do because I spend too much time thinking about things that people don't care about, which is they also have to nail the music.
Oh yeah,
They have to
well,
nail the soundtrack.
that's something Man of Steel did. The music in Man of Steel is amazing.
I mean, yeah.
Wait, you're gonna say
no.
Hans Zimmer's score Man of Steel's bad?
No,
Zimmer was-
I'm not saying it's bad. I want to say, especially if you look at the first trailer, and I was really nervous about that first Man of Steel trailer, the big one, where that soundtrack slaps. They got it right.
So good.
They did, but they didn't apply it correctly in the film itself. The music applied in the trailer was better than the way they applied the music in the film. And that's a problem because if you go back and you think about the '78 film with Christopher Reeve and this is John Williams we're talking about. So
Yeah.
that's like the Impossible Bar. I mean, you can almost hear that entire film. If somebody showed you a clip without the music or sound or anything, you can hear it in your head. That soundtrack is iconic. That is genius level
absolutely.
you got to live up to. Now, I'm not going to say you're going to reach it, but you've got to pay attention to it. And it's got to be something that people remember, and it's got to hit all the right notes. So, and I mean that metaphorically or figuratively as well as literally. Hans Zimmer's score was very good. They didn't do as good a job applying it within the context of how the film. There were some high peak moments, like big emotional moments, where that music needed to pop right there, and in some cases they missed it. And I think that's just a difference in style and the way Zimmer wants to do it. But in this new film, casting and costume and everything else. But if you don't pay attention to the music and you just sort of let it sit on the wayside, you're making a huge mistake because you're gonna fall short.
The hard thing with that is, does anyone remember any originals like track from any James Gunn movie? It's all pop culture music that he throws in there. There's no like original track from a James Gunn movie that's like
Right.
that was great, and he used that really well to emphasize the scene. There's never that.
Right, but how well does it age?
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, because it's all old pop songs, it ages just the same way. They're already songs that were popular 50 years ago, and they'll still be popular 50 years from now. People know the songs, so it'll age just fine. But the problem is it doesn't fit a Superman movie.
But I know what Jay means.
It fits Guardians of the Galaxy because of the story. It does not fit. It does not fit Superman. So if you do that, you'll have a problem with a Superman movie like Man of Steel. That's not real. It's a good movie, but it's not a Superman movie. That's the problem you'll run into if you don't do the kind of iconic music. If you do too jokey of a Superman, if you take him not seriously enough, if you take him out of what makes Superman, you might end up with a really good movie. You just won't have a good Superman movie. And I think that's the problem that the Snyderverse ran into. You had a bunch of pretty good movies. None of them were good DC movies. And you ended up...
Which Zack Snyder movies were good? I would love to hear this one.
I mean, no, Man of Steel was a perfectly fine movie. It was just not a good Superman movie.
Well, you said a bunch of good movies.
Okay.
Batman versus Superman?
Batman versus Superman was an okay. It was a fun. Again, they were.
Wonder Woman was good.
Other than the Martha nonsense, it was a mostly good movie. A terrible Batman versus Superman movie.
Wonder Woman wasn't good.
If these were, that wasn't. He didn't direct that.
Yeah, but he was a part of it.
I don't give a fuck. He didn't direct it.
Well,
I'm talking about Zack Snyder movies. Jesus fucking Christ, dude! James Gunn is the one directing this movie. I'm talking. So I don't fucking care.
He played a big role in the Wonder Woman movie.
He didn't.
He produced it.
He didn't write it. He didn't direct it. He didn't cast it. He didn't do it. There. The end. It's not his.
It. Wonder Woman. What do you mean?
He didn't cast the rest of the fucking movie. He didn't do it.
Did.
It's not his movie, bitch.
When you watch BBS, you see the cast of Wonder Woman in the movie.
You saw one character casted. Congratulations. One
Chris
character
Pine.
does not a movie make. It's not his
why
movie.
did you try to take Wonder Woman away from Patty Jenkins? Is this part of the patriarchy that you're a part of?
Did you see Wonder Woman
Give women
84?
credit?
When you see, that's completely Patty Jenkins as Wonder Woman 84.
Well, I can't discount the first one. That was pretty good, except for the beginning and the end.
She didn't play a big role except directed.
She only directed the film.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't matter. It's still not his movie. That's like saying every Marvel.
Man.
It's not his movie. Fuck. This isn't that complicated.
He didn't
Stop.
make Aquaman either.
He didn't do that either. He made
I know he didn't make Aquaman. Look,
he made 3 fucking movies.
Let me tell you something.
2 of them were terrible.
Zack Snyder, if you want to be technical, Man of Steel, he only directed that. He didn't write it. That was Christopher
Maybe that's
Nolan.
why that's the only one that's almost good.
Yeah.
I know how this
That's
stuff
a
works.
good point.
Zack's influence was heavy in Wonder Woman. I'm trying to tell you that.
I don't
He was
give a
heavy in
shit.
BBS and Justice League.
I don't give a shit. He made a couple of decent movies that were bad DC movies. They were bad DC Comics movies. They were okay movies. My point still remains that James Gunn might make good movies, but the big question is he going to make a good Superman movie? This isn't...
I just want to say this to Fatal J. You know Doc chokes down about 3 packs of heaters a day, right? His voice is hanging by a thread, and for you to rile him up like that...
Jay, what are you doing?
You're going to sound like my grandma soon.
So back to the topic. Here's where I think it's going to be the deciding factor. It's not the costumes, it's not the casting, or the music, or anything else. Those are all important, but that's not the deciding factor. I think the big deciding factor is when they announce who the villain is going to be. Because if it's like
going to be the Authority.
Is it going to be the Authority?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought they're
part of the story, but not.
I thought they're
main
building
part.
up to that for the next part.
Yeah.
That's going to be the
Yeah.
big movie.
Maybe it should be Brainiac then.
Yeah.
You know what? I think
Anyone
the
but Lex
Authority-
or Zod.
I think the
If
Authority
they
is
do
going to
Lex again,
Yeah, you can't do Lex or Zod.
Can't do
You
Lex
can't do Lex or Zod.
No, please.
Brainiac
don't.
would probably be your best choice,
Yeah.
and Brainiac would probably be the best choice because it would be the most easy to kind of adapt into the story and have it somehow connect to the technology necessary that you're going to need to create the characters that are in the Authority, because most of them are made. They are manufactured heroes. Other than whatever Jenny they pick. But Jack Hawksmoor is a manufactured hero. The Engineer is a manufactured hero. Apollo and the Midnighter are manufactured heroes. And they're created by essentially a weapons program. Like that would be like the DC version of the Weapons Plus program.
I bet Amanda Waller would have something to do with it.
And and Amanda Waller will be the one that's running that program.
I'm gonna tell you.
She will take the role of Henry Bendix for this, and Bendix be like somebody under her if they decide to go that way. But yeah, that's Brainiac would be the way to do it, because you capture all that artificial intelligence and alien technology that can be easily turned into what's inside of the Midnighter, inside of Jack Hawksmoor, and inside of the Engineer.
Now that's a dope idea. And plus, we never seen Brainiac live action movie. But I want to say this too for Authority. I think they're gonna set up a Kingdom Come type of thing with the Authority. They're gonna be the ones.
They're gonna have a young Superman. Why would they go all the way to Kingdom Come?
I'm talking about in the end, when all this arc is over, like the phase, whatever they call it, Gods and Monsters, the end of that phase. I think they're gonna set up like a Kingdom Come type movie, and the Authority is gonna be fighting
Bring
against
Henry Cavill back.
No, man.
The actor's still gonna be young.
No, I'm just saying the concept of Kingdom Come.
Oh.
The concept of it, you know, when they fight like the bad superheroes in there, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah,
Kingdom Come.
Right, but I mean,
you just sound like you don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I get what you're saying. I agree that Brainiac is probably the logical choice. Now, whether or not that's where they go with, I don't know. But that again speaks to the whole idea of if Gunn goes Peacemaker jokey, or he goes Suicide Squad jokey, and the villain is Brainiac, then we're in trouble. We're in really, really
He
big
fucked
trouble.
up Starro, even though I like that Suicide Squad movie.
He also ruined Bloodsport as well.
I hated that movie.
Bloodsport is a horrible person and one of Superman's darker villains, and that he made him like just like a rough guy with a heart of gold.
Yeah.
So
you can't do that with Brainiac. You absolutely cannot do that with Brainiac. That villain is too clear in people's minds about how he fits into the Superman mythos and the threat he represents. So if you go jokey and trying to do like a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of tone with that movie, it won't work. It won't work, and you'll be in trouble.
What if it's Doomsday?
No,
first one.
No,
We already had that.
I'm just kidding, man.
we had it badly. No, we're not going to do that.
Yeah,
I'm just
really
kidding.
bad.
Terrible. Oh man, that really came out of nowhere, didn't it? They were talking about like it was going to happen. You're like, nah, they would never do that. Not this soon. Like,
There was all the
there it
leaks
is.
for Batman v Superman like months before it came out, and it all sounded so dumb. I'm like, no way they're gonna do that. And then it was
That's how I
all
felt.
true. When I was watching in the theater and the stuff that I'd heard in the leaks were happening, I was like, no, there's no way.
You know, even though I'm a Snyder head, I do have to admit that Doomsday was a big mistake. I don't know why they did that, man.
Well, because and I think that people are like Doomsday. You can't do that Doomsday that way. I mean, you could do it that way. The problem is it sets up the death of Superman, and Snyder
In
did
the
not
second
earn
movie.
that. He didn't
No.
earn
They tried
it.
to put
You have
too
to
much
earn-
in it. It was
You have to
stupid.
earn that event. You can't shortcut it like that.
You had to
Because-
earn Batman versus Superman too, because
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yes,
make
you
any
did.
sense when it's their first meeting. So all
Yeah.
of these things are that's the problem with everything that they did the first time around.
Should be
is
Mr.
they took
Mitchell
shortcuts.
Doc.
He would fit a James Gunn story.
James
yes.
Gunn would work with that. Yeah.
that would fit perfectly with a James Gunn story.
What up, Yellow Flash?
Or like Emperor Joker would be kind of a story, but that's not what he said he's inspired by. He's inspired by All-Star Superman, which is very, very much more in the classic Superman story vein.
Yeah. We shall see. It's an important movie, Dylan. It's probably the most important movie James Gunn will ever make in his life.
I agree.
Definitely, and we'll see how it goes. Because this is supposed to set up like his DC universe, so this is just kill or be killed time with this movie. But I think I made a video on it. I think the perfect comic to like if you really want to be inspired for a year 2 Superman, because that's essentially what he said it is, was Superman Kryptonite from Darwin Cook and Tim Sale. I think that book is perfect for a year 2 Superman. If they went that route, I'd be so happy.
Very nice. We do have a few people shout out. Common Sense says Gunn will be a better Jonathan. Will get a better Jonathan Man of Steel. I think.
You mean
What's
John
his dick-
Kent? Like
I don't know what
Talking
they
about
Senior?
Kevin Costner.
I thought Kevin
Costner.
Costner was perfectly fine as John Kent. He had
Until he dies for no
well,
reason.
until he dies for no reason. But
And
he
then
and
until he
Martha
told
made
him to let
a
the kids
handsome
die,
couple.
which was stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was perfectly well cast. I thought.
He talking about James Gunn being Jonathan Kent?
No, well, he'll
No, he's
cast
talking
a
about
better.
casting Jonathan Kent.
Oh, gotcha.
John Kent Sr. Pa Kent.
I know, because he never even played baseball in it. So how could it be a Kevin Costner movie?
Man, he never played baseball in Robin Hood. That movie's great. Vishal Faktik says, off topic, thanks to Wes and Gray for recommending Kill Lock and Once in Future. I like both, and I will keep watching on for more recommendations. Well, I'm glad I could help you out. I really like Kill Lock and Once in Future. If you like Arthurian history and all that kind of stuff, and Excalibur, a pretty good series, illustrated by Dan Moore.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, really good.
And definitely keep watching for more recommendations. We will have that video up here later this evening. We'll be talking to Drew from Comics Elite. Thank you very much. Glad we could help out. HH and the boys from Sigma Comics. Shout out to the Thinking Critical crew from Wicked God. Sully's cooking chowder somewhere around here. Look out. Here comes Calico at your LCS and hit the like button.
That man is the king of the mode right there. Sigma Comics.
Knows what he's doing.
If I remember correctly, Here Comes Calico is getting ready. If it isn't already, it's going to be on Diamond Previews.
Yes, I believe it might be hitting your local comic shops very soon. Congratulations to them on that, and I hope you're having a good time in Boston. Get you some crab cakes and some chowder, and hopefully you'll get to see Eric. He should be there somewhere. You see those guys, definitely give him a big shout out. Mr. DC Comics says, Superman Legacy needs people that embrace DC characters for being aspirational heroes instead of trying to turn DC into Marvel.
Yep.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
You agree with that, Fatal J?
Yeah, but I mean,
The Snyderverse agrees that you need aspirational heroes for the DC universe.
Look, let me tell you something. I'm a Snyder head, but I'm done with that over there at DC. I'm getting ready for Rebel Moon, which is going to destroy current Star Wars, by the way. So I'm into
That's not hard.
I know. I mean,
Is it gonna kill current Lord of the Rings while we're at it? Not a lot of it's not a high bar. Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon is gonna be good. Wes, you hate everything, man. Just give it a try. It might
That's
be.
not true. I said Dawn of the Dead from Zack Snyder is a good movie.
Okay. So
Because he didn't write it. Everyone thinks I'm weird because I think 300 sucked.
What?
Did you just yell at me?
Are you serious?
Yes, 300 sucks. It's a music video.
Did you hear how quiet it is on this battle?
What is this? I'm just not into homoerotic theater. It's not my thing.
Great. Did you see 300?
I did.
What you think about it?
It was there was a lot of oiled men in it, looking very
Exactly.
muscular and buff.
Forget all that. Great.
But it looked amazing, Jay. It looked amazing. It was like a
Okay,
comic
great
book on
lights.
screen.
Gay. 300.
After watching 300, I felt very macho, and just
Yeah.
ready to take on the world. But here's
It's
the
the last masculine movie.
No. Here's the thing about Zack Snyder. I mean, if you watch 300, it is almost a shot-for-shot remake of 300 from the graphic novel.
Yeah.
Snyder does much
That's
better.
what we want, right?
Well,
As
wait,
comic
hold on a
book
second.
fans.
Snyder does much better when you give him the blueprint and just say, "Here, film this."
Yep.
Then he does much better. When you tell him to say, "Adapt this," or make your version of this, which is what he did with Dawn of the Dead, which is where he came up with the original concept for Sucker Punch, which is and on and on and on and on. That's when he starts to fall off the cliff.
That was awful. Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch.
There was a movie about owls. I didn't know who the director was. I was like, oh, this looks good.
yeah,
I watch it. It's terrible.
Something of the
Guardians
Guardians
or
or Guardians.
something.
I love it.
Rise of the Guardians.
If it wasn't for Guardians, you wouldn't get those dope Superman flying scenes.
So
in
if
Man
you
of Steel.
if you tell him to do a shot-for-shot remake,
Go
which
back
is what
and
he did
look.
for 300 and what he did for Watchmen, except for the ending with the squid, I mean, he does pretty well. If you tell him to do an original story and give his version of it, that's when he falls apart.
Gabe, I didn't ask you all that. All I asked you was if 300 was a good movie.
I think it was. If you like the graphic novel, you will love 300.
Okay,
If you have
Dylan,
no,
do
if
you
you have
like
no concept of
300?
the story,
Yeah, I like 300. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Doc, I know you hated it. So, Wes, you're wrong.
I
300
said
is
people
great.
think I'm weird. There's one good line in the entire movie. Only Spartan women will know what it's like to give birth to real men.
That
I was
is a
like,
good
that's
line.
pretty good.
That's a good line.
I can go with that one. But otherwise, not really my thing.
I understand.
But
I understand.
hey, that's how we go. Carlos 8560. I go with Parasite or Metallo 2. Superman's Secret Origin is a great comic.
Oh, that's a good
Yep.
villain. I forgot about
Metallo would be good.
Yeah.
Parasite would be
But
fun.
could you work up a whole movie around Metallo? I mean, his characterization is kind of thin.
You could
Does it
definitely
need
do
to be
one around
Bizarro
Metallo.
Superman? Or Cyborg Superman? Hank Crenshaw.
They just did Bizarro Superman on the Superman and Lois show, though. So
Spoilers! I haven't watched this season.
it was last season.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Only season one's
But it wasn't
available.
really Bizarro, was it?
That was spoilers,
No, it
eh?
wasn't.
Yeah, it was like a weird at Jeff Johns reinterpretation, which was the same.
Oh, there we go. Mr. DC Comics said Superman Legacy villains should be Lex Luthor, Parasite, and Metallo.
Nah.
I think you got to show his Earth villains before his space villains.
It's too
That's
many
just
people.
Secret Origin. But I think if you have Lex in it, I think he should be someone in the background that just exists in Metropolis. You can't have
I
him as
agree.
the main villain. You
Yeah,
cannot have him
that'd
as the
be
main
good.
villain.
Should he be
See-
telling Amanda Waller how amazing she is and how she's so much smarter than he is?
Yeah.
I could see
He'll
them
get
butting
to
heads.
Can't wait for the Amanda Waller show.
Butting heads would it be interesting drama, conflict between the two of them. Butting heads, I think that would be good.
And
Except he would
especially when they both pull their things
mean,
out and butt them against each other, they could do a little sword fighting.
See, the
And
reason I
Amanda
like
Waller already got outsmarted by her own lackeys, so
yeah. Ugh. I like Brainiac. I like doing Brainiac. Taking a look at the super chat, I like doing Brainiac first. The reason I like doing that because what that does is that brings alien and Kryptonian in particular, but also acquired other alien technologies to Earth, and then Lex Luthor taking those technologies and maybe helping to create Parasite, helping to create Metallo, and using those based upon the technologies that came from off-world. So I think if you do Brainiac first, that opens the door for spreading that alien tech and
Heck
knowledge
yeah.
and everything else into all kinds of different directions. So I think Brainiac first would be the smarter ploy.
I'll be honest. I think you said that much better than Doc. Like it was much more well articulated.
Well, I mean, that's yeah.
I don't
course.
care.
Doc is not a poet. Let's put it that way. Let's get one more thing in here. This is something I thought was interesting. I don't know if we have a lot of time for this, but I did want to talk about: are the Substack comics like officially a bust? We end up losing the Batman writer James Tynion, the ASM writer Nick Spencer, the X-Men writer. Obviously, that would be Hickman at the time, and just a host of other people end up leaving Marvel and DC to go do Substack comics. And it doesn't look like they've been all that successful. And now they're all signed on to do Distillery, which I guess is the brainchild of the guy that created Comixology and Chip Mosher, where they're going to make digital collectibles that aren't NFTs because that's how digital comic books work. It feels like Substack came out, they threw a lot of money around, and it has not been successful. That is just from my vantage point. You are a much smarter man than I am, Gabe. What do you think?
I think if you take somebody like James Tynion and put him on Tiny Onion or Tinian the Fourth or whatever you want to call him on Batman and say, what do people care about? They don't care about James Tynion. They care about Batman. If you put Scott Snyder on Superman or Batman or any other DC property and they ask them, what do they care about? Do they care about the character or do they care about Scott Snyder? 99% of the time, they're going to say they care about Superman or Batman or whatever character he's writing. These writers, and I'm not taking away from their talent. They're good writers, in some cases very good writers, but nobody cares about what their creative indie projects outside of a very small narrow group of followers that they might have. That's not wrong, but I'm just saying
They're not Alan Moore and Frank Miller and Mark
Neil
Miller.
Gaiman or whoever else.
Yeah.
They're not going to pull DC numbers going to Substack because nobody cares about them as much as they care about the characters they've been writing, which don't belong to them in the first place. So that's so if you're saying Substack is a bust, I mean to a certain degree, kind of. If the expectation is that we're going to get DC and Marvel kind of results, they're not going to get that. They were never going to get that.
I think
Now,
their
as far as-
expectations that they were going to build this big comic book ecosystem within Substack itself.
No, it was never going to happen. It was a flash in the pan. It was always a flash in the pan. Anybody who thought otherwise was being overly optimistic. Now this Distillery thing comes along, which is the former Comixology people, some of the cast of characters of writers they brought on board. I don't mean this to be insulting, but it is what it is. A lot of them look like C-level DC cast-off writers who aren't making any waves within DC already as it is. It's
Which
like,
are the
okay,
same people they hired at Comixology for Comixology exclusives
The originals.
that didn't fucking sell.
So basically, it's the people that couldn't get a Substack deal are now coming over to Distillery. So
No,
I
no,
mean,
no.
okay, fine.
It's the people that
Well, a
got
lot of them,
people that got Comixology Originals deals, and then they didn't sell. And then they
Yeah.
went to Substack and they didn't sell. And now they're going to Distillery with the people from Comixology that hired them the first time and already saw that they didn't sell twice.
Round.
And they're still hiring them again because they don't have anybody else in the Rolodex. And because
Well, they're not hiring
they're
them,
cheap.
Doc. They're
And they're cheap.
shareholders. They own part
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
business.
I
Right.
get
And that's why you
yeah,
can
but
hire
they're
them,
bringing
because you can
in.
say if you make money, then you're good. So they don't have to pay like a huge bank to be able to bring these people on board. They gave them the opportunity to succeed and fail on their own. Now the problem with the NFT thing, which is they're going to sell these comics and make them exclusive, is a lot of the people who are like really railing against that for and against honestly just don't understand what NFTs are to begin with. They're the digital artifacts attached to the blockchain. You're like, oh, blockchain. Blockchain is nothing but a digital ledger. There's nothing nefarious about the blockchain. All it does is it's a digital
It
block.
uses energy.
So does
Yeah.
everything else.
Listen,
that's
your
their Twitter
car
use.
uses good, clean gasoline. It doesn't. Oh, never mind.
Somebody should take a look at. Somebody, if you want to be horrified about energy consumption, take
Look
a
at
look
your
at
Twitter
just
account.
one Amazon IT center. Just one. You will be horrified at the amount of power that thing is. That could power several small cities in just one Amazon.
I don't care. Amazon is life. I don't care.
Exactly.
Let
So
it
don't
destroy
talk
the
to me
planet.
about
You don't want to get
blockchain
rid of
with-
Twitter?
If
Let-
they were- if
Let
they
it
really
destroy
wanted-
the planet, Gabe. I get 2 day shipping. I don't give a freak. Let the
Is-
next generation deal with it.
But the argument against blockchain because it consumes energy is dumb. That's dumb people
I'm
talking dumb things.
100% with you.
So the NFT, the blockchain is just a ledger. All it does is record transactions. That's all it is. And so the people say, here's a digital image. I attach it to the blockchain, and now that records that image is owned by that person at that state in this time for this amount of money. That's all it is. It's just a tracking system. So when they come along, they say, well, we're going to make these comics exclusive and you can own them digitally, but only you can own them. And they say, but it's not NFTs. What they're really saying is it's not attached to the blockchain, but the concept is exactly the same. They're just saying it's not NFTs technically because it's not attached to the blockchain, which is a bunch of nonsense. They're going to apply some kind of DRM to make it like some kind of tag or a meta tag or serial number on it to say this exclusively belongs to that person, and they're going to track it in a different way, not using the blockchain, but for all intents and purposes, functionally, it's still an NFT, even though they technically can say it's not an NFT. So it's stupid. The whole thing is stupid.
Or it's their own blockchain that is not part of, for instance, because there's multiple blockchains.
Yeah, it's going to be some kind of DRM, but something that they can say legitimately is not an NFT.
Now, I like
NFTs are essentially intrinsically tied to the Ethereum blockchain.
Yeah.
They can make their own blockchain. It is no longer an NFT. It still functions exactly the same way, but it's not an NFT because it's not attached to Ethereum. So it's not an NFT.
All right,
Frank
so when
Miller
you put all that
came
together, what does that mean? You have
It's still
Right.
attached to the blockchain. It's still an NFT for all intents and purposes, and it's still digital comics.
Just a bunch of DC cast-offs that no one cares about.
DC cast-offs for a company with a stupid name creating
Very
NFTs
stupid.
that are technically not NFTs. And you're
Yeah,
like, okay, how am I
NFTs
supposed to get excited? If I have a brain in my head and I think that through, how am I supposed to get excited about that?
And
Well,
a bunch of
here's the thing. So, Dylan, if you have a brain in your head and you see that there's a model that works for digital comic books, it's called Shonen Jump, where you have they basically do not consider collectors at all within the way that their ecosystem, the way they work. It's an enormous amount of content, day and date release that you have access to at a very cheap price. They've decided, we'll forgo that and we're going to make collectibles, but they're going to be digital, and we're only going to target this to the collector's market, even though there's never been a successful digital comic like created for the collector's market, and we'll bypass what's actually worked. How stupid is that?
It doesn't make any sense because it's been very clear that comic fans don't care about digital collectibles. They want something physical, something you can hold. Like this is like who cares about this? Who's this for? I don't think there's a big market for this. I don't see any way that they win with this. I don't think anyone cares.
there is a way to do this right, and I'm not kidding. There is a way to do it right. You have to stop selling the next issue or this issue when the following one comes out, because the reason why nobody gives a shit about digital comics and anything like that is because of lack of scarcity. scarcity is built intrinsically into the psychology of collectability. And when you have a digital comic that is forever on sale, if I can buy
No
X-Men
one sells digital
#1,
comics. They sell access to a digital library.
it
that
doesn't
you just
ma-
read.
yes,
You don't
but
own
you're
any of that stuff.
you're still you go and buy.
You're doing a subscription model.
I'm not talking about like a binge unlimited model. I'm talking about you go in to their library, you buy access to X-Men #1. Guess what? There is not a limited number of it. It will always be worth exactly what you paid for it, and it actually has zero resale value. Whereas
You want it to be an NFT.
the only way to make
Yes, I know what you're
digital collectibles work is by adding scarcity, and it requires the company to be willing to forego selling that product, this month's product, when next month's product comes out. And they're not willing to do it with digital up until this point, because
But Doc, you're the comic guy and you're the X-Men guy. If they created an NFT of X-Men or giant size X-Men, and there's only going to be 100 of them, would you really go out there and buy it?
No, because it can't be something that already exists. It must be new, and it must be only available in.
What if it's an exclusive X-Men comic and
I
there's
don't
only going to be 100 copies of it?
Oh, if it is exclusive, it is not available in any other medium. That means
You would buy
no
it.
trade paperbacks. That means that there's a possibility that the collector in people will buy it. As long as
You're the X-Men guy, you're the collector. Would you
Yes.
do it?
possibly. That's my point. There's a possibility.
The only
of-
way you could be into digital comics is if they were scarce.
That's the only. No, yes, I absolutely, because no,
This is like listening to a college. This is like listening to a
collectors
college
don't
student
give
trying
a
to
shit
explain how-
about. No,
It's
no,
like
I'm not.
listening to a college student trying to explain how socialism works.
No, it's called explaining how the psychology of collectability. Collectability doesn't exist in things that are forever available. Do you know why there's no?
Demand.
Do you know why there's no such thing as? Do you know why there's no such thing as a collectible Coke bottle that isn't limited? Because you can buy it tomorrow and you can buy it the next day.
Doc is right.
You can't. You have to. It has to be. Yes, exactly. There is no collectability to it if it is not scarce. Do you think that if they were still publishing, if they were still reprinting X-Men 1 every month, so X-Men 1 comes out, and you can buy that, and then X-Men 2 comes out the following month, but you can still buy X-Men 1 because it's still in print.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any value to X-Men 1? Will ever be any value to X-Men 1? No.
If you print 1 million copies, of course not.
No, there won't be, because it will continue. Everybody that wants one can always get one. The only
So you think this distillery idea is a genius?
no, I said that there's the possibility it can work if you want to actually make collectible comics, like collectible digital comics. This is close to the formula for it. Anything else, you will never get people to buy it.
I still see us catching on.
Right, but the secondary requirement to that is it has to be a comic that's worth collecting.
Yes, it does. It
Right.
absolutely has to be. Look,
So
if you have it, if you
It's
have
got to be Tinny Howard original.
no, if you have a good comic, you have to have demand first,
Right.
and then you have to have scarcity for it to have value. And something that is perpetually available from the manufacturer at MSRP has zero scarcity.
But shouldn't
But
you
what
actually
about
build
the-
up your
but
brand
it-
first and make there be an appetite for what you're
Oh,
creating before you create the scarcity?
Absolutely, no, not
Right,
really.
but the point is you got to have both. I mean, because you're not going to have massive demand for a Tinny Howard creator-owned comic without a
Or
concept.
Scott Snyder, he's proven that with his Comicsology originals and the stuff he does on Substack. No one
No,
gives a shit
but
about it.
Doc's point is correct in that you have to create the scarcity, and then that creates the sale price value for going forward.
For the
But
collectors.
you need,
yes.
but the scarcity has to
Be accompanied by quality.
right by the demand. Right. So
Yes.
you have to have both. So if there's no demand, then it doesn't matter what you do with how you bring up the mechanism for scarcity if there's no demand for it in the first place.
I can poop in a plastic bag, and that doesn't make it, just because that's the only one of that. Nobody wants to buy it, though. There's no
I'd
demand
buy that
for it
before I
because
bought a Tinny Howard original fucking digital
they're
collectible
the
comic
same
book.
thing. Yes, they're the same thing. I poop in a bag.
At least I
and
can turn that crap into fertilizer.
Probably.
Abuse.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know the details on that one. But regardless, yes, you have to have a decent product. And maybe they will come up with decent product. Maybe they won't. I have no idea.
Even
But
if you have a
you
decent
can't-
product, no one's going to know about it.
Well, yes,
Right?
because the digital marketplace is not created and it cannot work for generating new readers.
All right, Doc, we got a question for you. This is off topic. Lee Burns says, our house in the last few years has been ripped apart and refitted, etc. I don't have a bookshelf or room for it. Where would I store my omnibuses?
So you don't have a bookshelf.
Does he
but
need
you
a
wanna-
chest?
You can do.
Does
Honestly,
he
you
want
can,
to display them?
if you want to display them, look, get some cinder blocks. I'm not kidding. Cinder blocks and 2x8s. You can make a shelf to display them. I mean, otherwise you're literally just stacking them up. You can
Man, that's gonna
stack
look
them.
ugly.
Yeah. No, it's industrial style
Shabby chic.
interior design,
like
shabby
steampunk?
chic. Yeah, it's shabby chic
Man,
bullshit.
just get a table and stack them up.
Yeah. I mean, look, you if you want to display them, you need a shelf. You can either make a shelf, buy
If
a
you don't
shelf,
want to
or build
display
a
them, but you
shelf.
want to store them, I say you get a chest.
You gotta. Well, you can also
long
do
boxes. You can get some long boxes.
For
no,
omnibuses?
the omnibuses
No, he
don't
wanted
fit.
to display
Depends
them.
how
Oh,
big they
because
are.
it's
Depends how
fine.
big they are.
You can do the CGC
Get a
boxes.
spinner rack.
You can't fit an omnibus in a spinner rack.
You can spin. You can put
That's the
one in
dumbest
there.
thing I ever heard,
The
Fatal
fuck
J.
you can. I'm looking at one in my room right now. That you cannot fit an omnibus in there. You might be able to fit. You can fit like 2 trade paperbacks in one of those shelves.
Do you realize an omnibus is like,
They're like
I know
3
it's a
inches
big
thick.
fat book. I was joking. Jeez, come on.
you were
Yeah, they're
joking.
like-
I saw it
they're
in your
like-
face.
They're like 3 inches thick, and those pockets are only about 1.5 inches. It's just that simple.
I know an
It is
omnibus
falling apart.
will make the spinner rack fall over, man. I know this.
Go
man.
to an Army Navy store and get a lockbox.
Foot Locker.
Yeah.
You can get a Foot Locker, or honestly,
Gorilla
go,
box.
No, go to the liquor store. I'm not joking. Go to the liquor store and ask them for their the empty liquor boxes. All you got to do is pull out the
And that would look cool in your room.
yeah. There's like they have a little like cardboard insert that keeps the bottles separated. But that just slides right out. Just take it right out the top, throw it away. You could you could put all your omnibuses in that. It's actually about the right size for it too.
He's
I've
in the
done that
UK
when I
soon,
moved.
so they got a lot of liquor there.
Yeah, well,
Oh, a bunch
maybe
of
I don't
drinkers
know.
like me.
But no, it works. Whenever I think the last time I moved, like 15 years ago, it that's what I used to pack my omnibuses. So
Doc, who did you support on Substack day one?
0 people. I have never subscribed to anyone's Substack that I had to pay for.
So who'd you subscribe for free? Was it Jonathan Hickman?
No, I actually
Did he?
hold on. I don't even know if I have. No, it was actually I think
Birch?
Glenn Greenwald,
Oh,
like the
news guy.
reporter, the journalist. I think that's the only person, and Perch, just because it was a novelty, and then I created my own that somehow people subscribe to. I don't have any content on there. Why are you people subscribing?
Miss Maria's got a point here, Doc. Doc's interior decorating advice. Go to the alcohol store.
Yes, that is correct. I mean, if you just want to store them, put them in those boxes. If you want to display them and you don't have a current bookshelf and you haven't built one yet, seriously, go for the shabby chic cinder blocks and 2x12 or 2x10. And that it works. And because they're the 2-inch, they're thick enough that you don't really have the issue of like bowing from the weight.
Yeah, I think we can all agree
Where's,
Substacks are dead. What do you say, Gray?
I subbed, believe it or not, I'm crazy. I subscribed to James Tiny Onions for the first 4
newsletter.
months, paid content, and I think I got
Was it
maybe
great?
4. I got 4 really short comic books out of it about the is it the Betty Grant or Betty Grant, the UFO cases where she saw UFO or something back in the 60s.
Hopefully, it
That
only
was
cost you
it.
$16.
It
Are
was,
you talking about Betty
I-
Hill?
Oh, is that the one? Yeah, I couldn't remember the name. That's it.
Barney and Betty
yeah,
Hill?
it- yeah, that's it. Barney and Betty Hill. That was all it was, and a little bit of extra content for his what's that called again? The Something Is Killing the Children. It was so disappointing. It lasted 4 months, whereas now it's out.
Man, you weren't a day one supporter where you drop like $500 so you can get like.
Oh no,
Nominate
no,
this in
no!
5
I was the
years?
cheapest option. Very cheap.
Oh, very nice. Miss Maria also points out that World War II caused comic scarcity in the 40s, Doc,
Yeah, because
because everyone had to recycle paper.
you had to recycle your paper. So that had a lot to do with why those books are scarce now. I mean, there wasn't a collector's market. The collector's world didn't really hit until the
Any
late
type
60s.
of not grass like roots collector's market always ends up collapsing when it's like Funko Pops or whatever.
Yeah. When you're building a collectible market and your intention is to create a collectible market, you always become the Franklin Mint.
Mhm.
It's
It's how you destroy baseball cards and comic books and stuff like that, where you try to create false scarcity.
Yes, when you're attempting to create scarcity, but if you're creating something that has no scarcity, you will never have a collector's market. You have to balance.
You got to create
Artificial-
something with massive appeal, and hopefully it becomes scarce eventually.
Yes, that's
the big
literally
second.
yeah. But as long as you keep everything that you create available at MSRP, you will never have scarcity. It's impossible. I mean, unless you want people that don't have the internet to somehow get your internet thing.
Oh, there you go, Doc. Frank Zanka says, "Happy Saturday, guys. Has anyone heard about the plot for this upcoming Storm solo book? Any idea if it'll be good or should I skip it?"
It's a one set in the past. It doesn't matter. It's another one of those.
Those are the best books Marvel are putting out.
I understand that they're really good. They have been historically very good. My point is they can't matter. It's impossible for them to matter.
It'll still be good.
They could still be
If
good.
it's set in the past, I'd say read it if you're looking for a good Storm.
Yeah, if you really want a good story, definitely check it out.
I'll check it out.
But if you expect it to have, to have your mind blown and learn some great new thing, unless they're about to retcon the character in the current day books, you're never going to get anything new that can have any lasting effect on the character status quo because it's set in the past.
And it's Innocenti.
Yeah. Still can't have any impact because it's set in the past.
Yeah, but I still like Maestro, even though it was set in the past. I thought it was a great book.
Actually,
The whole
no,
series.
hold on. The whole Maestro story was you knew the very end of it. You didn't know any of the parts of how he came to be. All you saw from the original story for the original Days or Future Imperfect was regular Hulk, like current Hulk, going to the Maestro's future. You had no idea how he rose to power. And it was a great story because you get to learn all the stuff that you didn't know the first time around.
Well, I'm enjoying Joe Fixit now. I know he disappears. It's one of his personalities. Pretty decent book, although it's more of a Spider-Man book really than a Hulk book. But I say go for it, Frank. And Ascenti returning. Storm book, not in regular continuity, so you won't get bogged down by any of your events. And it doesn't matter how they're screwing up in regular comics. It only matters what happened 30 years ago. I say do it. All right, fellas, I think that's going to do it. Daddy needs to get his chicken nuggets. You know what I mean? It's about time to give me some food. Let's talk about our comic book recommendations. Beto J, you don't really read comic books, but I'm going to give you a chance to recommend some.
Yes, I do. I've been reading Superman Lost.
Man,
Finger
he looks
licking
so
good.
drunk in that picture, doesn't he? Look like he's about to go home from the bar.
What y'all talking about? I'm
Feed his
frozen
dog?
again?
Yeah, you're frozen again.
Yeah.
Dang!
Look on your face, man.
But y'all can hear me, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this is my recommendation. I recommend am I back?
No.
Oh,
You
okay.
look like you're about to do something very unwholesome to that microphone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is my recommendation, Superman Lost. I've been really enjoying that. And
Christopher
also,
Priest.
I'm going to have to say, and I know you guys are against me on this one, I've been enjoying Wildcats reboot.
Matthew Rosenberg.
I've really enjoyed that one. I love the flow of putting DC characters in there. I thought I would hate it because I'm a big Jim Lee, Brendan Choi fan, even though they're not really good writers themselves. But I'm enjoying this book. It's flowing right. It's action packed. They didn't do the characters bad. I thought they was gonna, be on that modern day type of crazy stuff with it we hate, but not at all. It's been a good read. So you guys pick it up and give it a try. It's a fun ride.
I do not second that one. Fatal J, do you know who doesn't like Christopher Priest? I think he's a good writer, but Gabe hates Christopher Priest.
Why you hate Christopher Priest? He made some dope
Listen.
Black Panther comics.
Listen. Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say I hate Christopher Priest. I
You
don't
hate his comic book writing.
I don't like his writing style. But hate is a strong word. Hate is a strong word.
I'm sorry, hate's a strong word.
Hate is a strong word. I don't like his writing style. I think it's too.
He doesn't appreciate Christopher Priest.
It's too disjointed, and he likes to introduce things that have no meaning.
Yes,
It's a
sir.
lot of inefficient waste. And Fatal J still looks like he's about to do something really bad to the mic.
I'm still frozen.
Oh man, if you saw the way you were looking at that mic, you're taking that mic out for a dinner or something.
But I'm back, right? I'm back.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
so-
recommendations. So first of all, shameless plug. Please follow for your DC needs, Weird Science DC Comics. For your Marvel needs, please follow Weird Science Marvel Comics. For everybody else, Dynamite, Zenoscope, Ablaze, Mad Cave, everybody else, Comical Opinions, that's the place to be. And we also do have a Substack, but it's really mostly just a newsletter. Good newsletter, but I mean, we don't try to do anything crazy or weird. For recommendations, all right, I'm going to recommend World's Finest number 14. They're continuing the adventure against with the Metamorpho possibly killing Simon Stagg. It turns out to be a bit of a twist, and you get a lot of cameos from characters you haven't seen in a long time. The issue was a lot of fun. I liked it a lot. That's it, and I've got nothing from Marvel. Sorry, Marvel. Yeah, there we go. See, Fatal J's on there. See, he sees it. He sees it. He knows.
I just subbed. And
Good
you
man,
should
good
too.
man. Okay, so if you're looking for comics that aren't outside the big two, but are really good, really awesome, I'm going to recommend Mighty Barbarians #1 from Michael Morrissey. That's from Ablaze Comics. It is, think of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but different barbarian characters throughout literature, myth, and history.
Oh, that's dope. What's it called again?
It's called The Mighty Barbarians from Michael Morrissey, who did Barbaric. So it's the same writer from Ablaze Comics. So
He
the
also
Mighty
did my favorite issue of Nightwing in modern comics.
Yeah, the Mighty Barbarians #1.
The
So
Mighty
that's-
Barbarians. Okay.
Yeah. The second one I'm going to recommend is Hunt, Kill, Repeat #2 from Mad Cave. It is the Greek gods have taken over the world, and all of a sudden they run into like a internal struggle where they all gang up on Artemis, and then she has to fight back. So that's
I saw that. Wasn't she pregnant in the beginning?
yeah, and
That's
some
a
bad
good
things
book.
happen. I'm not going to say it. A lot
I
of
read that
action,
book.
a lot of like god magic type stuff. It's an urban fantasy. It's great stuff. Mad Cave Studios. The third one I'm going to recommend, the next one I'm going to recommend is Northern Blood #3 from Blood Moon Comics. It's basically it's Return to Castle Wolfenstein in comic book form. So it's soldiers fighting against Nazis, fighting against Viking zombies, all coming to life and all converging in the middle of this snowy Nazi base during World War II. You like Return to Castle Wolfenstein and that sort of like kind of World War II era horror? That's a great one. Like that one a lot. And the last one I'm going to recommend is Moriarty Clockwork Engine #3. Again, this one is sort of like a spiritual successor to League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but it stars Sherlock Holmes. But he also teams up with historical and fictional figures like Dr. Jekyll, and you get Alexander Noble, and all these characters coming together. And what it is somebody's using Dr. Jekyll's formula to create a super army that's going to attack England. And lots of fun stuff. I like that one a lot. Moriarty, the Clockwork Engine #3.
Very nice. We've got some people's common sense says Superboy Man of Tomorrow, great start. I saw Spurrier's Green Lantern, so the other round robins are backups. Wish Spurrier writes Green Lantern. I don't. I'm not big fan of Spy Spurrier, but he does write a backup in Detective Comics that you won't believe next week.
You will not.
And I'm
believe it.
glad Superboy Man of Tomorrow is good. I know you've been really looking forward to that book by Kenny Porter. So
Yeah, it's pretty
that
decent. It's pretty good.
yeah. He also says Rogue Sun #12, tragic ending of a hero. No one #2, and there's news. #1 sold out and getting reprints. That's great news. I happen to like both of those comic books from Image Comics. They're part of the massive universe from Kyle Higgins. Rogue Sun is the better one, but I'm liking No One as well. Very nice. All right, Gray. You got any comic books to recommend? You recommend ASM this week?
Apart from ASM, no, I'm only joking. I enjoyed Mark Millar's Magic Order, Volume 4, Issue 4 came out. It's great. It's like a mixture of course, Harry Potter and Game of Thrones for adults. What else is good? Gunslinger Spawn Wares. It's a cracker. It's a gorgeous looking issue, isn't it, Dylan?
Yeah,
so
Gunslinger
good.
Spawn's so good.
Yeah.
People complain the story's kind of meandering, but I just have so much fun reading it, and you can't get over Brett Booth's art. I think it could be career best from him right now.
Yeah, and it's only $3.
Yeah, only $3 as well, exactly. What was it? There was one more. Oh yeah, of course, World's Finest is great, and Superman 3. Superman was Joshua Williamson. It's not amazing, but it's a lot of fun again.
What
That's
issue did Brett Booth get off of Gunslinger?
He hasn't. He's been
still
doing the
on
entire
it.
thing.
Oh,
He's
still
been doing
on
it every issue. We're on
Man,
19.
I've never known him to go that long on a book. That's pretty good.
Dude, he did like
No.
40 issues of Backlash.
Well, that was his own little thing, though.
It was still a
I'm talking about-
Wildstorm book.
I'm talking about in a while. This has been a while since he's been on a book this long, though. Usually he do about 2 or 3 issues, and he gone. You know?
He did a long
he
time
did the Titan series
Titans
for DC. Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
That was still years ago too. The
Yeah,
Titans.
6.
He was getting regular work. I mean, there was a
Why
there
are you
was a
chiming in,
period.
Fatal J? You distracted the channel.
Oh, sorry about that, guys.
Oh, you know Daddy needs his chicken nuggets. Man. Trying to eat before I do this other video. Are we done, Gray?
Yeah, thanks, Wes.
Great, sorry, man.
Thank you very much. And sorry,
No
Fatal J
worries.
interrupted you again.
No.
Well, so we got Dylan, the real comic book gamer. Do you have any comic books you want to recommend besides All-Star Superman, your favorite story of all time?
Yeah, I only have 2 from this week, which is like Gray said, Superman number 3. It's pretty fun. It wraps up the first arc, and Jamal Campbell kills it. His art is so good. I really love the way he draws everyone in there. And yeah, it wraps up the first fun arc. And then the other one was the ending of Deceased. Tom Taylor is horrible on pretty much everything, but I enjoyed what he's done with Deceased. I thought it was a good ending. It's a cool, alternate universe story. It was fun, and he actually does some good stuff with Damien and John. Considering he did horrible with them in Son of Kyle, he handles them well in Deceased.
No lollipops confirmed, right?
Yeah, no lollipops.
Very nice. Last but not least, Doc, are you recommending New Mutants Lethal Legion number 2?
Fuck that. No. We'll explain why on what, Monday?
Monday. Worst of the
Monday.
week.
Yeah, worst of the week. So no, I'm gonna go with first. We're gonna
Variant
do some.
covers.
Yep. Since we brought up the Spider-Man number 1. See,
Oh,
Legend
nice
of the
stuff.
Iraq Knight. I don't know if you could fucking read that or not. Oh well.
I'll take your word for it.
All right. So then, let's see.
Now, that's a good one right there.
Yep. X-Men 112, 116, I think. Then we'll go something even bigger. We'll go with all 6 issues of the Long Shot miniseries.
Yeah, that was a good comment.
First appearance of Long Shot, first appearance of Spiral, first appearance of Mojo, and 6 issues. Annie Nocenti writing, Art Adams art. It's 6 issues of Art Adams doing interiors in a row. So seriously, go out and pick it up if you can find the miniseries. It's a beautiful miniseries, and it looks it's just a fun read.
Yeah.
Very nice. We've also got Yul Carter over on Fantastic Comics YouTube. This Tuesday, he's cracking a slab for X-Men 130. Is that a big deal, Doc, or should he leave it in the slab?
I have one in and one out, so
Well, he
go
cracked
for
yours
it.
then.
It's not
Make
really
yours
a
more
big book.
scarce.
It's not really a big book. I mean, it's still in that during
We
the
don't need-
Phoenix saga and everything, but it's great. It's a good story. It's sandwiched between a bunch of other stories that are even like more keys. That's the problem.
Very nice. The problem is Fatal J's face whenever he gets frozen. Look at him. Look how
I'm
drunk he
frozen
looks.
again.
Oh, man, you look hammered.
He looks so serious.
Yeah.
Jim.
I'm frozen though. I'm frozen again.
Why so serious?
He's like in the corner of the bar. He's like, "What did you just call me? Dude, I'm playing pool. I don't know you." Like, I saw
It's
you
joking,
talking-
man. It's joking.
Yeah,
I must have
exactly.
forgot to pay my internet bill this month.
All right, everybody. I'm going to bounce on out of here. I hope you enjoy the recommendations. The show. We had a lot of fun here today. We went off some tangents or whatever, but we've got Best of the Week coming up in a few hours. Monday, Doc and I are going to review New Mutants Lethal Legion #2, which is the bad comic book. And have a good weekend. Hope everyone's doing great. Have fun at